Zombified.
Monsters are living under your bed, 'cause they are the voices in your head. Zombified by the lies they said, we've become the walking dead. 'Cause everybody's on an edge. Oh no, they'll never let go. Something you said 10 years ago. They're canceling you. And they won't stop till everybody's zombified. They're bumping us with lies like it's formaldehyde. We're dead inside. Don't want it on, let this go. When it stops, we'll never know. We're hypnotized. And they won't stop till you're zombified. Shut your mouth and bite your tongue, 'cause you don't wanna piss off anyone. We're traumatized by the damage done. Welcome to America. 'Cause everybody's on the edge. Oh no, they'll never let go. Something you said 10 years ago. They're canceling you. And they won't stop till everybody's zombified. They're bumping us with lies like it's formaldehyde. We're dead inside. Don't want it on, let this go. When it stops, we'll never know. We're hypnotized. And they won't stop till you're
Zombified. Zombified.
cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I cut my own bleeding. Cut my life into pieces. I've reached my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I cut my arm bleeding. Do you even care if I die bleeding? Would it be wrong, would it be right? If I took my life tonight, chances are that I might. Mutilation out of sight, and I contemplated suicide. Without losing my side, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. Losing my side, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine.
Welcome to the new era of the IWC. You want a place where you can be you? Do you love stories and long-term booking? Well, you have come to the right place. Hosted by your longest-reigning IWC Intercontinental Champ, 1/3 of the IWC Trios Champ, 1/2 of the IWC Tag Team Champ, and your IWC Undisputed Heavyweight Champ. So grab your beverages and your snacks. And like BiggOh says, if you got it, spark it.
What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Big O wrap up episode 31 titled The Fallout because we had a lot of wrestling going on this weekend with AEW Double or Nothing and WWE King and Queen of the Ring. Y'all already know who it is. It is your boy Big O, and we're back for another excellent show, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to Guardian, JD, Jesse. I know they're live right now. It's my first time going live this late up against them. But don't worry. Don't worry. I got help. I got help. My original Bebe family, they had other obligations doing. Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. And y'all wonder why I got these glasses? Because, this is the Bay O. The Bay O. The Bay O. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my special guest here today, he is the host of the OTB. Man, I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I give you Phil We Met. What's going on, bro? How you doing today?
How you doing, man? This is gonna be a fun time. I can already tell the chat is popping. We are about to get going. It's gonna be a fun time as always. And thank you so much for that great introduction, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, look, I always give my special guests a little bit more hype, because you guys are special. You guys are influences to all of us out there, along with JD, Jesse, Solid Monster, Ticket Drew, and the rest of the OTS family and stuff, man. I appreciate what you do for the IWC, man, and keep going. I'm always going to be one of your supporters, man. I'm always going to be checking out your chats. I'm always going to be watching. I'm always going to be there. Hopefully, one day I'll be on there with the crew.
Hey,
And,
we can
hey,
make it happen. We can
yeah,
make it
hey,
happen.
we're gonna make that happen, man. But I appreciate you for being here, man. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, man. Appreciate everybody here in the chat. Let's see who's all up in here. Look who's in here.
Look at this, man. Look at this.
Oh,
Oh, look at him.
for those who are living up under a rock, yes, MJF came back Sunday at Double or Nothing. Kind of like the new look he got. He looks a little bit more shredded. Even had the whole Triple H jacket when he returned back in 2002 from that quad injury. It looked really good. I'm officially reinvested back in the AEW now that my boy is back. MJF, he is our scumbag. So
Yeah, I mean, MJF being back was the exact shot in the arm that AEW needed. I've always said that. When it comes down to MJF just being a part of AEW, it's the energy that he brings to the table that just makes it so worthwhile to see. And I mean, he got right back into the thick of things with Adam Cole, and we'll see where things go from there. But man, AEW, I do a weekly review show with my boys Cam G, Cam G, and Metal Mike, and that if it wasn't for that show, at times I kind of felt like I was not going to be able to watch AEW. But now all of a sudden that MJF is back in that great show that we had on Sunday, yeah, I'm back. I'm back, and I'm back in full force, hopefully, and we'll get things going with AEW, and we'll see where things go for Forbidden Door because I'm planning on going. So,
hey, that'll be one hell of a show if you're able to make that for Forbidden Door. My thing, as far as it comes to AEW, is what is Swerve going to do now? What's going to hold Swerve over between now and All In? A lot of people want Will Ospreay and Swerve. Of course, we know Will Ospreay just became the international champion last night. How long is he going to hold that title? And do you possibly think we're going to get a title versus title at All In?
that would be very interesting. It's funny that you actually mentioned Will Ospreay because I kind of felt like he could possibly be doing something else at Forbidden Door at not Forbidden Door at All In. And it's against the man that we were just talking about, MJF. I think an MJF versus Will Ospreay match would be absolutely fantastic, mainly because of the two levels factor. Nobody's on the level of the devil, and Will Ospreay's on a whole different level. I mean, I think MJF could possibly get jealous of the fans, just gravitating towards Will Ospreay as soon as they possibly did, because Ospreay just came into the fold of AEW while MJF was away since
Right.
December. And then they're going to be able to go at it. I don't know where Swerve Strickland is going to be going from here. I'm interested to see where things go for Swerve at Forbidden Door, because the last time we saw the AEW World Championship on the line at Forbidden Door was because of MJF. He was the champion at that time. So we'll see where things go in terms of that. But I'm looking forward to see what AEW does with Swerve as champion, because they're continuing on with this path of, him just paying for his sins. After everything that happened with Christian Cage, he had to get his look back. He did now. Now we'll see where things go.
Oh yeah,
Right.
absolutely, man. We're going to get into AEW. We're going to get to Double or Nothing. In fact, that's going to be the first thing that we're going to talk about. But before we do, guys, I just want to let you know to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, press that bell for all notifications, and share to keep your people aware so they will not miss anything that happens right here on Big O Gaming, right here on YouTube. And hey, go subscribe, go follow my boy Phil. He puts out some great content. Him and the crew over there at the Outside the Brand podcast, man. Listen, that is a good listening. You guys need to go check it out. Definitely go check that out. Let's go ahead and start with Double or Nothing. As a matter of fact, man, a lot of people didn't too much care about the 0 hour and stuff, but I did see the Deanna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa match. I think it was a pretty good match. I love Thunder Rosa. She is one of my favorite AEW female wrestlers. I met her a couple of years ago when she was here for the WrestleCon at Remington Park. Was able to, as a matter of fact, get my Intercontinental Championship belt autographed by her.
Cool.
And it was just, she was so humble, very beautiful person, man. I will forever be a fan of Thunder Rosa. But this was definitely a good match. And Deanna Purrazzo, she held the ropes for the 1, 2, 3. My little quick thoughts about that match is I have no idea where the direction for either of these women are going. I have no idea.
Yeah.
We saw the program with Deanna Purrazzo and Toni Storm. Was that the best that AEW has for her for the time being? I have no idea. What are they going to do with Thunder Rosa? Is she's back in full swing? Will she even get another shot at the AEW's Women's Championship? And I'm on the verge of saying that I'm really more on the verge of saying that it's possible that we could be getting a change with the women, in AEW, especially because now you got Britt Baker and you got Jamie Hayter getting ready to return. Where do you see, or should I say, how do you see things lining up for the women as far as the next competitor for Toni Storm and her AEW Women's World Champion?
For those of you guys who've known me over the course of AEW's existence, I have been a very big component and big supporter of the AEW women's division. I want this AEW women's division to thrive. I want this AEW women's division to continue to elevate and make themselves worthy of being possibly one of the best women's divisions in the entire world, essentially. Deanna Purrazzo is incredible at what she does. And so is Thunder. I'm not taking anything away from Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa is fantastic. I got to meet her over WrestleMania weekend at the Wrestling Revolver and House of Glory show. And she was just incredible at, I mean, she was the bellkeeper at that event, but she was just awesome in the exchange that I had with her. I don't know where they go with them next, but I want this AEW Women's Division to thrive. And it's just all about the stories with them. They just got to get stories together. they're starting. They're trying now with these feuds that don't involve a championship, and I like that. You don't always need a championship in a feud, and that's exactly what this whole thing between Deanna and Thunder are. They lost both their opportunities against Tony, and because of everything that happened with them, they got into a falling out, and that's what led to here. They're tied 1-1 now, so there's going to be a third match.
Yes.
Whether that happens at the next pay-per-view or All In, who knows? But I'm interested, and I want to see where both of them go here because they're both incredibly talented, and they should be utilized a lot more.
I want to piggyback off of that real quick, and you're absolutely correct. Both of these women are extraordinary athletes. They are great at what they do inside of the ring. Um, if you were to twist my arm and make me choose when they have their next match, I don't necessarily want to say it's going to be All In. I do believe that maybe at this point, Dynamite or Collision would be suitable enough. Maybe put a little stipulation on it for the rubber match, and I think that'll be great just to settle the score between those two. And I know, and since we're here, we're talking about the women and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the AEW the women's title match with Tony Storm and Serena Deeb. To me personally, I think they did Serena Deeb as far as how to book this match. They did it totally wrong. They tried to make her a face. It wasn't working. And I said this on my show last week when I had my bro from the Mo Jeremy and I have Hologram on here as well. If if it were if it was an opportunity to make Serena Deeb heel, and I'm a baby face now, and I really want to get your opinion on this, Phil. If there's anybody on the AEW roster that could get Serena Deeb over as a baby face, who comes to mind that could do that?
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if anybody is. I think Serena Deeb is way more of a heel than she is a babyface. And that's just coming from me personally. Just by the fact of the matter of what I have seen from her in the past. And I'm not just talking about her past WWE work. I'm talking about what she has done in AEW. And I just felt like she's just way more of a heel. And when they tried to make her more of a full-fledged babyface in this feud with Tony Storm, I was just not buying it. I wasn't buying it one single second. She was trying to talk about her recovery from the seizures and all that stuff, and the crowd was just not into it. They were chanting random things just to have their own fun, and then she was just looking back, and then they're like, yeah, and then she tried to go right back into it. It just felt very forced to me. So I'm just trying to figure out how you're trying to relay her as a babyface when ultimately she is a way better heel.
Absolutely. I 1000% agree with you. There is nobody on the AEW's women roster that can legitimately make Serena Deeb a babyface. I don't even think a tweener is an option. She's just a bitch. She's that professor, that professor. She's a bitch. And she's going to cause. She's going to call that. Yeah, exactly. She's definitely going to do that. But other than that, it was a pretty good match, in my opinion. It wasn't the lowest. It was a good match, but it wasn't a bad match. It's not like the best match, but it was one of the low points of the show of Double or Nothing. But I did think it was a good match. The right person won. Eventually, I do feel that Tony Storm and Mariah May, they're going to have some kind of tension that's going to have Mariah May challenge Tony Storm for that AEW Women's Championship later on down the line. And I think that's going to be fantastic because I know Mariah May can go. And we all know what the lovely Tony Storm, excuse me, I'm so sorry, timeless Tony Storm can do. And listen to JD this morning, this afternoon, whichever time zone that you're in, he mentioned that we got a lot of the rocker version of Tony Storm last night. Like she actually had to wrestle, had to really forget about the gimmick that she was doing, but she actually had to be the Tony Storm that we knew before the Timeless era. I thought it was a nice little touch. Tony Storm can still go, and she's definitely one of the better women wrestlers in AEW. And I'm excited. I'm really excited about what's going to happen with this story now, with this storyline now, because Serena Deeb is in the back now. Who's next? I literally saw a tweet that had 3 letters: DMD.
Interesting.
I'm ready for Britt Baker. I am ready for Britt Baker.
That's interesting. When it comes down to everything that's happening with Tony Storm right now, I agreed with everything that you said in terms of Tony Storm actually being able to take away that gimmick for just a little bit and actually just going out there and professionally wrestle. That's the one thing I will give Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb brings out a different side to her opponents in every single way imaginable. Whether she's a babyface or a heel, I think she fits more as a heel, like I said earlier. But whether if that is one side or the other, Serena Deeb is a wrestler's wrestler, and she will get you to either get to her level of being like that great of a competitor or even better. And that's exactly what she did with Tony here. The money match right now with Tony Storm is against Mariah May. It's 100% that matchup.
Yeah.
I personally think that that's going to be happening at All In. I do. And whether that could... I've always said this, first of all. I'll back up for a second. The only 2 people that I've ever seen taking this championship off of Tony Storm are A, Mariah May, or B, when she is ready to get back, and I know she is ready to get back soon, Jamie Hayter. Those 2 were literally the only 2 that I ever felt were going to be able to take this title off of her. And I've always said that All In is that perfect place to do it, because I mean, Jamie Hayter All In right there in London, that's perfect for her. Or if she's not ready yet, Mariah May. The only other person I could possibly think of, like for Forbidden Door's sake, and it kind of fits in with the whole Mariah May stuff, is, and I know you're probably going to be like, Phil, what the hell are you talking about here? But the person that Mariah's been kind of teaming with over the course of the last few weeks, Mina.
Yeah.
What if Mina gets into the fold of everything, and then Tony Storm's going to say, hey, Mariah, look, you're going to have to choose me or her. And she goes to her, and that's how everything happens.
Bro, I've never thought about that. That's a good point. That is a good point. I've never thought about that. That's crazy. Mr. Dark Ace. Chris Statlander, she did turn on Willow. We'll talk about them in a minute. We're going to keep the women topic going.
Perfect.
Lord. Chris Statlander, first of all, my goodness, how good did Chris Statlander look? How good did Cake Lander look last night, y'all? My goodness.
I love that name.
Absolutely. Oh. My goodness. Yeah, you saw Phil. I see Phil do that. Oh, you
it's
already know.
Hot just thinking about it.
You
also
already
because
know.
I have no AC, and my ceiling fan is also freaking broken, so it's disgusting here. So, but yeah, Chris Statlander was perfect last night.
My goodness, Chris
perfect in every way.
And for those of you, and I'm pretty sure everybody here knows here at the Bay Resort, when we see Tiffany Stratton on our TV, we always throw our hands up. I got to keep my hands up off for Cake Lander too, because good Lord, she looked absolutely. And was she wearing lace lingerie last night?
She looked good.
GOODT, good. That's you know what? We're getting off topic. We're getting off topic. I do apologize. We got to keep some decorum here, people. Some
No,
decorum.
we're good. No, we're good. We do this all the time on
Yeah, you're right.
OTP. Things just get
You're
crazy.
right.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, hey, we get rambunctious over here at the Bay Resort, man.
It's
But
good.
Chris
We with it.
Statlander,
It's fine.
Chris Statlander, call me. Bailey ain't gotta know. Just call me, okay? Bailey ain't gotta know. All right.
Be good.
we're gonna keep it
No,
up
but
with the women here. It is kind of
in
hot
all
in here
honesty,
now.
it was awesome. In all honesty, though, the turn was awesome. It was desperately needed for Chris, and I am very excited to see where they go from here, especially with everything that happened after that TBS title match. Because I know you're probably going on to a different direction, but I do kind of want to highlight that TBS championship matchup for a second.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about it right now.
Matter of fact. Okay.
So, matter of fact, how about you lead us off with that match? Because I got some stuff that I want to say, and I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here. Oh, good old classic JD style. But I'm gonna let you start it off first. So take it away, Phil.
Now, I don't know if that's gonna be a good rant or a bad one, but regardless, I'm gonna start things off here with this TBS championship matchup here. I thought the two ladies killed it out there. I really did. Willow Nightingale has been such an amazing babyface for the women's division. She's been an amazing TBS champion. I just kind of saw the writing on the wall. and it's no disrespect to Willow. It's no disrespect to either her or her title reign at all. It's just that I just did not see Mercedes Moné losing her first matchup in AEW. Now, should she have had her first match way before this? Yes. There should have been way more things for Mercedes Moné to do besides, this being her first matchup here. The talking points are not her strong suit. Her strong suit is in that ring, which is exactly the reason why we got what we got last night. And what we had last night was very special between the two ladies. It's just now that she is TBS champion, to quote Bully Ray, because I listen to him on Busted Open Radio every single time when it comes down to the podcast side of things, because I don't have Sirius. Sorry, Bully, I just don't. What's the follow-up? What's going to be the follow-up? Because now with her as TBS champion, we got to figure out where things are going there.
Thank you. Yes. Like I 100% agree with you. To me, and I talked to my bro from the Mo, my boy Jeremy. He's in the chat right now. I think he's going to try to pop on for about 10 to 20 minutes because I know he got the baby and he got the wife at home waiting on him and stuff. And that's cool and everything. And we had a conversation about this earlier because I had it wasn't necessarily a huge problem, but I did have a problem nonetheless. Mercedes has done absolutely nothing since she came into AEW. Just a lot of this, running her damn mouth, talking, CEO. I hate her theme music. I really do. It seems forceful for the crowd. The match was good.
Yeah,
I gave the match a 4.2 out of 5. It was a fantastic match. Mercedes was going to go out there and be Mercedes. She was going to go out there and kill it. Willow, my pillow, has always been a good wrestler to me. When I seen her in Ring of Honor, when I seen her in New Japan, when I seen her in TNA, and now in AEW, she has always been a very good talent for the women. To me, when she won the TBS championship, I said she's going to be a transitional champion. She's going to lose that title at Double or Nothing to Mercedes. I was hoping that I was wrong. I would have loved for Willow to at least have another month as a champion and make Mercedes earn that title. Because as far as I'm concerned, just one time in the ring, I mean, there was really no story to it. Of course, the story was helpful when it was in New Japan. I understand why they extended that, because from what happened in New Japan to Mercedes, I understand 1,000%. But this is a different company. Unless they're just, feeding off of that, they did tell a good story in the ring. They told a wonderful story in the ring, which caused a very good match. My thing is this: I would have preferred Willow to win and hold on to that title. Maybe whoever attacked it, Mercedes, during that one backstage segment could have cost her the match yesterday and kept Willow retaining. At the same time, you still could have done the heel turn with Statlander. You still could have done that. Whether if it was the way that it did, I personally would have waited and until like straight up Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa turnstile. Get up there by the entrance ramp and then go slam her face into the LED board. That would have been my way of doing it. But I don't know. But I agree with you. I am like you in a lot of ways. I want to see where they're going to go with this now. Who is Mercedes' next opponent going to be for this TBS championship? I'm very curious. I am very curious. But it was a good match. It definitely was a good match. Like I said, 4.2 out of 5. Very solid, good match. Now, we're finna get to a little bit of this meat and potatoes. Just a little taste of it, y'all. I want to talk about MJF. Let's just get this out of the way now because I'm at dinner yesterday, a graduation family dinner yesterday. MJF showed up, and I literally got loud and marked out inside of Chili's restaurant. I did. I've been waiting on this man to come back for months. I actually predicted it on my King and Queen of the Ring watch along on Saturday. MJF was coming back at Double or Nothing. I predicted that. Another prediction I said is he won't be back until All In. I think really in realistic now you got MJF now, you'll get Kenny Omega at All In. MJF coming back, like you said, the shot that AEW needed in the arm. So I look. I know I mentioned this. What does MJF do now that he's back? I still feel like he's still got unfinished business with Adam Cole in the Undisputed Kingdom. But I do remember MJF having a little back and forth with Swerve when he was the AEW World Champion. Now that Swerve is the AEW champion, could we see MJF versus Swerve at All In? Or do you think Swerve is just going to go ahead and defend his title against Will Ospreay, like we mentioned in the title versus title? I actually am a little more intrigued in seeing MJF versus Swerve. How do you feel about that matchup? MJF versus Swerve. How do you feel about that going into All In?
I'm intrigued. I am very intrigued ultimately because of their last, encounter.
Yeah.
I want to see this match. I know everybody wants to see this match, and I'm pretty sure we are going to get that match, but it's just a matter of timing. Right now, like I said, I still think we could possibly see that Will Ospreay versus MJF match, but it doesn't have to be at All In. And plus, we don't even know if Will Ospreay is still going to be the international champion by All In. We don't even know if Will Ospreay is going to be in the Owen.
Yeah.
We don't know if MJF is going to be in the Owen, because the Owen is going to bleed right into All In. That's the best thing about all that here, because the Owen winner gets the AEW World Championship match at in. So it's just the fact that they added that stipulation to the Owen, I am so happy about, because that actually gives the wrestlers something to fight for instead of just that cup.
Yes.
I'm super excited about the prospect of seeing the Swerve Strickland versus MJF match. It's just a matter of when, not if, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's definitely going to happen. And you're absolutely right. Oh man. And I've been wondering what's been taking AEW so long to pull the trigger as far as the winner of the Owen Cup, because I've always felt like they should have always took a page out of WWE when it comes to as far as the winner of the King and Queen of the Ring, who gets the title shot at SummerSlam. I always feel like AEW should do something like that when it comes to the Owen Cup because it is somewhat similar in resemblance to the King and Queen of the Ring. So the winner of that does get a title shot at All In. But I always wondered, was this something that was planned by AEW, or was they really just waiting on WWE to institute that title opportunity for the King and Queen of the Ring? I feel like they should have done it a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, might have had forced WWE and Vince McMahon at the time to institute that same title opportunity like it once was back in the 90s when they did the King and Queen of the Ring. It was a nice touch. I think AEW. Listen, guys, AEW is picking up a lot of fire right now, and I love it. With MJF back, with the Owen Cup actually having something for the roster to fight for on the men and the women's side, it's just only going to get better. And this is what we all wanted. We wanted AEW to get better. We wanted this to happen. We wanted both companies to start thriving. And now I'm feeling really good. I cannot wait until they come back to OKC so I can attend another AEW show. I'm already going to SmackDown on September 27th. But to go to another AEW show now that things are starting to kind of feel like year 2 and year 3 to a degree, I'm happy. I'm happy with the way that professional wrestling is going right now. So, and it's just gonna get better. We got Kenny Omega that's going to return soon. I know he had that surgery and stuff, but I think he'll be back by All In to I guess you could say even up the score when it comes to AEW versus the Elite. So but yeah, wrestling is looking really good. I know Phil is excited about where wrestling is going right now. I'm excited about where wrestling is going. And just hold on. Let's just hold on to our seats, guys, because it's going to be a great, great ride this summer here in 2024. All right, the Acclaim defeats the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage by pinfall submission by pinfall. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Gates of Agony and Brian Cage, Jesus. When it comes to the Gates of Agony, it's like, to me, it's almost like, who cares? When it comes to Brian Cage, it's like, when is your contract up? When it comes to the Acclaim, they have fallen so far. My God.
It needs to be studied.
Yeah.
It needs to be studied. The fall of the Acclaimed needs to be studied because what happened to these guys?
Good
Seriously,
Lord.
and to Brian Cage, look, if somehow Brian Cage gets a whiff of this, I don't care because honestly, this is just me talking to you directly. Get out of your contract as soon as possible. You deserve so much more than what you're getting right now. Look. I don't know what you have. I don't care what you have to do at this point. Just get out of it because you are so much better than what AEW is allowing you to be. I have talked to this man on, it's been through social media, of course, but I have talked to this man on, somewhat of a couple of occasions. And first of all, he could not have been more down to earth. But second of all, he's just so good. And I don't know why AEW just allows him to hide in the back when he is literally one of the to me, honestly, he's one of the best they got in terms of a big man, quote unquote. And it's just they just don't know what they're doing with him. And again, I kind of want to just reiterate this here. I know that this whole AEW roster split is a pipe dream to all of us. But because the roster's so bloated. But the fact of the matter is, if they actually did have dedicated brands or a dedicated roster, I feel like we possibly could see Brian more. But until that either A happens or B, Brian is out of there, we're just not going to be able to see him, and that's a shame.
Man, look, woo. Brian Cage is definitely good. If you guys just if you guys are willing to stick with me on my Sundays DNR episodes when I do Dinner of Wrestling, just a retro rewind, we have went back into the archives of Lucha Underground. And I'm sure this upcoming Sunday, yes. This upcoming Sunday, next week on Sunday, we're continuing the Lucha Underground takeover with the next episode. Oh, what was it, a couple weeks ago? It was last week. We watched Io Sky and Kairi Sane, and I forgot the other girl back when there was the Black Lotus Triad against Pentagon Zero. Fantastic. Brian Cage and Lucha Underground was a monster. Was a down straight monster. And I think I really do believe that AEW is missing the mark with a lot of their wrestlers, especially with Brian Cage, just having him relegated with the Gates of Agony and Ring of Honor. Brian Cage needs to be a focal point in some of these storylines. Brian Cage needs to be put in some of these major. He needs to be put over. He needs to go on a domination run. You know what I'm saying? We've seen people like Will Hobbs do that. Will Hobbs go and just crush people and get opportunities and stuff. We haven't seen Will. Where is Will Hobbs, by the way? Where is Will Hobbs at Tony Khan? Because I haven't seen
hurt.
Will Hobbs. Is he hurt? Okay. Will Hobbs is hurt. Man, AEW is definitely hurt. God,
he got hurt during the IWGP Heavyweight Title match against Mox. I believe that was at the Daly's place. Dynamite, whatever. I think he hurt his leg or something. That the actual injury, I don't know, but I know he's hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that he was hurt or he got hurt in that match. My bro from the Mo, who should be popping up pretty shortly. Actually, he's actually in the back room, but I don't see his face. I just want to make sure he's good though. Oh, okay. I'll bring you in just a second, Jeremy. I got one more thing I want to say real quick. But yeah, with everybody. Oh, and that's another thing. Just the injuries is really hurting AEW, man. It's like, oh man, just as soon as everybody is ready to come back, you get about 3 or 4 people that's hurt. That is devastating. It's like, oh man, can we just be healthy? Can everybody just be healthy for a good year, please? I just imagine, what could happen. Like I'm sitting here worried about Darby Allin. Meanwhile, Will Hobbs is hurt, and I didn't even know. Like, come on.
I heard this said on, I forgot who said it, but I know it's basically one of the big names in the community or whatever. I think it was probably Jesse. I'm not too sure, but you can literally build an entire roster just based off the people that are hurt right now in this company, and that's it's crazy to even think about. But the big names of AEW are still hurt right now, and yeah, sure, MJF got back, and that's a huge name that AEW did get back, but I mean, there's still so much that AEW still needs.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree with you. Absolutely. My bro from the Mo, what's going on, Jeremy?
What's up, Gold Standard? How you doing there, Sexual Chocolate?
Oh, man, it is what it is, man. I'm doing good, man. Me and Phil just having a nice little conversation. You care to
I've been listening.
Yeah, you care to give us your input as far as Brian Cage and how he's being treated at AEW? Do you take time for Brian Cage to go talk to Paul Levesque?
Bro, they've been trying to give him direction for years, and the idea of him actually doing something in this company, very far-fetched at this point. I mean, I know he recently signed another contract. I'm sorry, I'm yelling. I'm on the road. Forgive me.
Good.
I'll be home in about another 20 minutes. But
Good.
no, he's been kind of dwindling and just kind of riding other people's coattails in AEW and hasn't really done anything of it. Anything. And when they booked him as the Machine in Lucha Underground, like they filmed a whole bunch, like they built his character versus just bringing him. Oh, we got Cage here, and so I mean, it's just the lack of build. They haven't made him a focal point or put any real emphasis on his build. And so when it comes to the dynamic of how he's supposed to grow and get over with the crowd, people really don't know who the fuck he is to begin with.
That's fair. That is fair.
And those who do know, they're just kind of sitting here feeling like there should be more, like all of us.
Yeah,
So
I personally feel like it definitely should be more when it comes to Brian Cage, because let's just say it. Look, Jen says it a lot. Jen likes to call people jobbers. Brian Cage is a muscle-bound jobber.
oh well, there was a couple jobbers in your chat earlier. I can name a few, but we're not going to go into that now. Anyway, yeah, Jen knows. Jen knows knows who all the jobbers are. So,
you know, but she's not wrong. I mean, Phil,
no, she's really not.
Yeah, you can even agree that even Brian Cage is being treated like a jobber these days.
Yeah, I don't like that we're using that sentence for him.
Yeah,
but yeah. It's just because I just don't think that Brian Cage and Jobber should be in the same sentence. But
no, they should.
The way that AEW has been presenting him and booked him, it's just not even fair. And the fact of the matter is, I'll tell you this right now. I had no idea the Acclaimed and the Gates of Agony or the Cage of Agony, whatever the hell they want to call them now,
the Cage
or even feuding.
Yeah, for real. Like,
because that's what I have. Because that's what I have on the sheet here. It says Cage of Agony. So I was like, what? Now they're called Cage of Agony because Brian's on the thing. I don't know. They're really just a mogul embassy at that point. But
that's it.
I didn't even know they were feuding. I didn't. So it's just
like, who's the leader of this stable at this point? Is it Bishop Khan? Is it Toa Leona? Or is it Brian Cage?
You would think it's Brian Cage, but I don't know. At that point, it's like, why? And now Swerve, Nana's not with them anymore, or so I think. Is he still with them? I don't know.
I think
he just got back with Swerve. So,
go ahead, Otis. I'm sorry.
You're good. Now I don't even know. I know Nana is gonna ride or die by Swerve. That's his boy. When it comes to, and you know what? Maybe it is Brian Cage. Maybe he is the leaders of the Cage, the Cage of Agony, and that's, and I'm like, why? But if that's
he has the most charisma out of all three of them.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. If they're just this faction that's just ready to wreak havoc on the roster, okay, let's start seeing it. Let's start seeing you, Braun Breaker. I look at Braun Breaker, and that's exactly how Brian Cage should be right now. That's how Brian Cage should be right now. When I look at Braun Breaker, he needs to be running, cutting people in half.
Well, I mean, you could make you could link
interesting parts as well.
Yeah, you could link it. You could link parallels between both of them and say either of them need to do more of what the other is doing. But when it comes down to it, again, and I'm going to say this with Phil here, I don't know how you really bother comparing WWE to AEW, but it's like comparing apples to oranges. And that stuff, when I see all the banter and nonsense online talking about how, AEW is copying off of WWE, or vice versa, or one company is legitimately better than the other, and try and give all these little dynamics to how they are. You're literally comparing citrus to another acidic fruit that is not citrus. So let's
Right.
literally take a step back and be more pragmatic in our assertions of these two different companies that are two different, completely different products.
Right. And the thing is, I literally saw it on Sunday when Tony Khan and Martha Hart came out there to announce not only just the Owen, but with the winners getting the shots at All In.
I had something to say about this. Go ahead.
I literally saw it on Sunday saying, okay, well, and you brought this up earlier. Oh, this is like, all right, did they just make those championship opportunities just come out of thin air because the king and queen of the ring get championship opportunities at SummerSlam? I mean, they were exactly comparing it to that. And I was like,
Yeah.
guys, first of all, not everything has to be copied and pasted by AEW to WWE or vice versa, but
Yes.
as long as things are actually getting, you know, better
Yeah.
and allowing things to breathe a little bit more, that's all that matters to me. I don't care if things are, it's not copying. If you're going to allow it to,
Regardless of whether you
know,
want to call it copying or not, it's something that needed to happen because these people were this
take
company was
inspiration,
literally. Go ahead.
But
take
Go ahead. Sorry.
inspiration and spin it to where you can make it your own and allowing yourself to happen.
right.
That's all. That's all I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just and I don't care that they copied off of WWE because it makes sense for AEW to do something like that. It's going in the right direction. You're giving something meaningful. Now you got people in this tournament like, oh, I got to get in this tournament because I want that title shot at All In. So I'm looking forward to this. Before it was just you get the cup and a little bit of recognition. That was it. And it was like that's it. That's all you get. Just a little bit of recognition.
A tournament like that should have a prize on the table. Why not? Like, it just doesn't have to be for a cup.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was clamoring on originally, and Otis can attest to this. I was trying to make or create some kind of fantasy book, if you will, some kind of direction to make a legitimate Triple Crown tournament based on the Owen Hart Cup, potentially an eliminator tournament or a tag tournament, and the Continental Crown. Because they want to make the round they want to make the Continental Crown a round robin G1 style, and so when you think about it, like they were Eddie Kingston brought out that whole dynamic of wanting to do having the Triple Crown of not only the Ring of Honor World Championship, the New Japan Strong Championship, but the Continental Classic title. And I felt that there was some good way, and I know that there's a good way to actually book a legitimate Triple Crown tournament for and make it the Continental Crown Classic Triple Crown. And it's just the one thing, like, they have so many opportunities. If I can think of this stuff, they are, and it shouldn't be benign to them.
Right.
And the direction that they have now with the Owen Hart Cup, it is second to none. One of the things that all of us were clamoring on from the very beginning. Have it make sense. Don't just give them a trophy and a belt as a winning thing and then not have it mean anything in the long run. It's just something to put on their mantle. That's what made me sick. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that 100%. At first, when they won the belts, I always figured that the belts would be defended. Okay, so you got this, the Owen Cup belt is going to be used as legitimate championships on the show. And then, I haven't seen any of it being defended and stuff. So when they came up with the title shot, resolution, I was more happy. Dark Ace, good question. Who would we like to see in the tournament? I think a better question, and I'm gonna throw this question to Phil and Jeremy. Phil, I'm gonna let you take this question first. To me, it's not more or less like who we want to see in the tournament. It's more or less like who should be in the tournament. Go ahead, Phil. Give me
Yeah,
yours.
it it's very interesting to talk about that type of a topic of who should be in the tournament or who we would want to see in the tournament. I feel like when it comes down to these tournaments, because let's face it, AEW has a ton of them.
Mhm.
It, it's just all dependent on what was really up for grabs here, and that is why this whole championship matchup at All In is so important. I don't want. Okay, I'll tell you who I don't want to see. People that are simply not going to be in World Championship contention. I don't want to see somebody, and this is no disrespect to him, I don't want to see somebody like a look. Like I said, no disrespect to him, but Dustin Rhodes. I don't want to see him in this tournament because
That's fair.
I
No.
know that whoever is going to be facing Dustin is going to move on. Like
Like
I want to see people that are
these
actually
tournaments that
capable
have
of
like
contending
JD
rather
Drake,
than actually don't.
like
Right.
JD Drake and the Workhorsemen.
Right.
Like you have these tournaments where these people are brought in, and it's literally to pad people's record. It's not for anything else besides that, and to give them a nice little exhibition exhibition match to get them out in front of a crowd. And where I don't necessarily disagree with that, there's a different venue and a different opportunity for that. And so
Yes.
sorry to interject, but no, there needs to be people who actually like world-class athletes and the top of the food chain in AEW that need to be in this tournament. For sure.
Yeah, but everybody, but the thing is, everybody that's at the top
And when
of
it
the
comes
food
down to the
chain,
women's,
yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Phil. Go ahead, Phil. You go, then I'll go right after you. Go ahead, Phil.
Okay. I was just saying for the women's at that point, the women's tournament for the women's championship opportunity, that's honestly such a toss-up at this point because I want, like I said earlier in the podcast, I want to see basically any women in this division succeed. So if you just allow any of the women to go up in there, um I think that'll give them all an opportunity to shine. It's just a matter of who fits in there best, which is the reason why I kind of think like somebody like a Mariah May could really be in this tournament, succeed in this tournament, and allow herself to get to that spot at All In. But yeah, I mean, the women is literally throw a name up in the air and see where it lands. But the men's is honestly really harder, like a lot harder to call.
Yeah,
Honestly,
absolutely,
like with
100%.
anybody who's available and who has already won the Owen Hart Cup at any point in the past, they should already have a bye. But again, I feel like this entire tournament, again, what we're all enumerating, like these people need to have some kind of legitimacy to how AEW has been built to be world class. And so, like the caliber of talent in this tournament means everything. Like you don't want to have again, you don't want to have JD Drake and Joe Hendry or not Joe Hendry. What's his face? Anthony Henry. Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry, by the way. But no, you don't want to have like Anthony Henry and JD Drake from the Workhorsemen. You don't want to have Isaiah Cassidy or Mark Quinn in this tournament.
Right.
You don't want to have just the lesser names. Like AEW is at a point now that they don't have to play around with the indie guys. No more.
Right. I 100% agree with you. Dark Ace, if it is an A person, oh man, I think Danielson probably will be in it. You have to protect Okada because right now I do not see Okada.
You gotta protect a lot of people on that list.
Yeah.
You've literally got to protect. You got to protect everybody in that list
I
every name that
personally
you
would love to
just
see
said.
that, but I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a good lineup
Yeah.
right there. Not gonna lie,
I could see Hangman, yeah, but I could
gentlemen.
see somebody like a
I need
But
to
Hangman
here's the
bow
Page.
out.
thing.
I need to bow out for just a minute. I will be back
Go,
in 10 minutes. I'll be right back.
hey, go ahead and handle your business. We're gonna
I'll be back and
continue. When,
I'll be on set, so we'll be good. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
all right, my bro from the Mo, be careful. That is the bro from the Mo, Jeremy, the host of
Yeah,
the
like
Code and Kayfabe on Thursdays. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead, Phil, because I'm gonna comment on what Dark Ace just said. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm gonna do the same here. Like I said, you gotta protect a lot of people on that list, if not all of them. And though I would love to see absolutely everybody in that list be a part of
Oh,
this tournament if it is going to be an 8-person tournament,
oh
like
yeah,
usually has been in the past. Um, though I would love to see all those matchups and whatever type of configuration you want to do it in. Um, it's just a matter of protecting all those guys and ultimately how everything's really going to be shaping out, because this is not a round robin tournament like it was in the Continental Classic, which I mean, the Continental Classic to me was easily one of, if not the best tournament AEW ever produced. But it's just a matter of I don't want to see Ospreay losing right now because he just won the international title. Danielson should be in that world championship title contention, but I've heard from the man himself in other interviews that he just simply doesn't want to be in that world title picture. He just wants to help AEW grow and wrestle and just allow him to wrestle until he hangs it up. Okada, he's a champion right now, the Continental champion, so you gotta take that into account. MJF, he's a good person to be in this tournament. He is. If you want him to go into that all in and get him to swerve, that's great. Mox, he's a great guy to be in there. Hangman, if he's in there, that would be great too because of him and Swerve. So those three I really do agree with. And then Jay White's the trios champion. So it's just, it's a great list, but I see really only possibly 3 that I can see in that out of the 8, if it's going to be 8.
yeah.
And Omega, who knows where Omega's going to be?
Yeah, I definitely see. You got to protect Ospreay. Danielson, I can see him in the tournament. Okada, you got to protect him too. MJF, I could see him in the tournament. John Moxley, he's the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. There's no way that he's going to be in that unless he loses that title at Forbidden Door. Hangman Page, when he comes back, yes, he will be in that tournament. And I also see Jay White. I would rather. Oh God, I love Bullet Club Gold, but I think Jay White is he's more valuable as a singles wrestler than he is with this trios. And I think that what him and the Gun Club are doing is absolutely great. But I definitely could see Jay White. I definitely could see Hangman. I definitely could see Brian Danielson. Ospreay, Okada, MJF, maybe Omega. I would keep them away from the tournament because I think they got other stuff to go on. You got people with titles that need to defend their titles. Who knows if they're going to even be continental champion or international champion by the time this tournament starts. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. Dark Ace, I like this idea too. If it's not Omega, I definitely would put Samoa Joe in it. I definitely would put Samoa Joe in it. And I think having Samoa Joe could
Just a good
really
guy.
yeah. Samoa Joe could really open up the tournament a little bit as far as unpredictability. So I like that. I do like Joe to be in that spot. Speaking of the aerial assassin Will Ospreay, he defeated Roddy Strong last night for the international title. To me, this was a good move. This was a great move. I understand. Look, a lot of people were complaining. Oh, well, Will Ospreay, they hold on. This hold on.
Oh, well, Will Ospreay just got there and now he's already international champion. And Roddy just won that title not that long ago.
You go with the hot hand, people. Go with the hot hand. Will Ospreay is that dude. He is that dude right now. And if he didn't win this title, if he did not win this title, which I knew he was going to win this title, then that definitely almost solidify him as being the next AEW World Champion if he didn't win this title. Now there's a little bit of how is he going to lose that title? Who's going to contend for that title from Will Ospreay? He's Will Ospreay is definitely all world when it comes to the ring. He is a very humble guy, and now I guess he's part of the CEO crew too. Since on Twitter he's CEOing with Mercedes after both of their title wins, CEOing all at dinner in the backstage, like he's just CEOing all day. I want to know, Phil, now that Ospreay is the international champion, who do you want to see in the next few months or so take that title off of him?
It's a very interesting question. First of all, I have to agree with you on the fact that first of all, this is a perfect opener for Double or Nothing because it really showed what both of those guys could really do.
Yes.
I have always been a big believer and fan of Roderick Strong. I have been. It wasn't just because of, the whole Adam thing. It's just basically because of what he's been able to do in the ring from years past. Will Ospreay's just that guy right now. And like Dark Ace is saying, there's a reason why they called it Dynasty over when they had AEW Dynasty at that point in time.
Oh yeah.
Monet, Ospreay, and Okada, who were all signed before that whole thing, before everything kind of happened with Dynasty, they're all champions right now. And that's not a coincidence, people. That is not a coincidence at all. So,
done by design, y'all.
Will Ospreay, yeah, it's all by design. Will Ospreay being the international champion was 100% the right move. And who can possibly be the one to take the title off of him? I kind of don't. I personally don't even want to think about that right now because I want to see where AEW goes from
this
here
guy
with
right here.
Will Ospreay.
Look at this, Phil. He's responding to you. He's responding to you. What's up, Adam?
What's up, Adam? See, I called for Adam and he came over. I called Adam and he came over here. But yeah, I kind of don't want to think about where how Will Ospreay is going to lose that championship right now because it just happened, and I kind of just want to see where AEW goes from here because I know AEW is really hot right now with Will Ospreay and with this international championship. Will Ospreay said it himself. It's the workhorse championship of AEW, or at least that's what they wanted us to think of this title as, and I'm really excited to see where he does go with this international championship run. Now, he won this championship opportunity in that gauntlet match or casino gauntlet match that's going to be happening, I'll believe. I don't know if it's going to be happening this Wednesday or a couple of Wednesdays from now, but we're getting that matchup again. And that matchup gets the World Championship match at Forbidden Door. So they're putting this matchup here as a staple to get championship opportunities for a pay-per-view, which I don't mind, because if you're going to be doing weeks upon weeks upon weeks for television after crowning that number one contender, because again, the rankings don't matter.
Rankings don't matter.
The fact of the matter is you're crowning a number one contender, and then you can use those other weeks to actually build a story or something between champion and challenger. So I'm excited to see where Will Ospreay goes with the international championship. I just want to see where they go.
That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. And Dark Ace, this was a brilliant because I watched the scrum last night. I went straight to bed after the show. It was absolutely long. I'm gonna talk about how I feel with the difference between
I watched it
WWE
this morning.
and AEW.
The
Oh, the scrum. You watched the scrum? Yeah,
I
I didn't
watched the
even watch
scrum
the
this
scrum.
morning.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the scrum this morning. I had a lot to do this morning. I'll probably go back and watch it before I go to bed tonight. This is a good idea because I did not watch it. I did not know that Osprey can actually defend that title around the world. And what you just said, Phil, just opened up a forbidden door to me. I definitely want to see that title defended at Forbidden Door. I want it to be defended against a New Japan superstar. I am looking at a couple of people in New Japan to at least come in and give a good competitive match for that title at Forbidden Door. Now, um, I don't know many people that's left in New Japan that I just constantly watch. The former, what's his name? Oh, David Finlay is one that I would like to see come and try to get that from Will Ospreay. David Finlay would definitely be one. I'm interested in seeing that. Here's another one. How about Will Ospreay versus Nick Nemeth? Let that sink in. Just let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no,
For that
you're speaking
international,
my language. Yeah.
take
Yeah.
my fucking money. I would love to see that. I
Yeah,
would
you're
love.
speaking my language. You'd also have to talk to TNA about getting Nick over there, but if Nick is going to be allowed to get over there and be a part of Forbidden Door, that would just be great. That would be
That would be
fantastic. I mean, and let's be, real with one another here. This championship was born at Forbidden Door.
yeah.
The first matchup that this international championship had to crown the first ever champion, which was Pac back in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago in
Mm-hmm.
2022. I mean, it was at Forbidden Door. So this championship could really be a staple for Forbidden Door in the future, and just allowing Osprey to defend that title could be something really special.
I'm curious about that. My bro from the Mo, welcome back. We're sitting here talking about
Oh,
possible opponents for Will Ospreay for the international championship. Phil brought up Forbidden Door. I mentioned two people that could possibly be a good match for Will Ospreay, and I said David Finlay.
David Finlay. He kicked his router. He had to have.
And Nick
Damn.
Nemeth. What are
Damn.
your thoughts?
say that again, Otis. You were breaking up.
I had mentioned, yeah, I mentioned David Finlay and Nick Nemeth as possible Forbidden Door opponents for Will Ospreay in that international championship. What are your thoughts?
Nick Nemeth, man. I'm glad you didn't say Ryan Nemeth, but all things considered, no. Nick Nemeth,
Oh, come on.
after he
Come on.
left, he's been trying to find his footing.
He
The
has.
former
He
Dolph
has.
Ziggler, you probably should have let off with. But no, he's been trying to find his footing, and he's just been kind of all over the place. He's been, from, dare I say, he's been trying to do things like Matt Cardona in a lot of cases. He's been trying to just get his name out there and do every show that he possibly can. I can't say he's wrong. And in which instance that you want to put him in line for Osprey's title, that's not necessarily a bad direction. It'll get Nemeth on the show and get a little bit of extra star power and people who actually give a shit about him in AEW to pop. But at this point, who else did you mention? I'm sorry.
David Finlay.
David Finlay, leader of the Bullet Club in New Japan. I've been hearing that they were going to possibly do an angle with Bullet Club New Japan with Bullet Club Gold or the Bang Bang Gang here in AEW. At least that's just what the angle that I saw coming.
That wouldn't be bad. That'd be interesting. That would be very interesting. Mr. Darkay says Nick will be selling the hidden blade like death would just pop him. That would be absolutely amazing. Nick Nemeth is a great.
Oh, he would.
Yeah.
Nemeth knows how to sell. Just anything he does know what to do. He knows how to sell something like death. And that's
well, he learned from the best in the business. Like he's got selling on par with Shawn Michaels. And even at The Rock, I'm sure those were some of his some of the people he looked up to as far as in the business and the nature of how he may need to handle himself. But no, Nick Nemeth and David Finlay, at least going along with that, with what you're postulating here, David Finlay isn't necessarily a bad opponent if you consider their history with the New Japan title and everything that came down from that. Granted, like after David Finlay had the title, I kind of lost track. And now that Mox has it, like, okay, now we're at some even ground that I finally like can keep track of a little bit more. But yeah, Ospreay's just a world-class talent that you can't just throw anybody in there. Like for TV dates, it's one thing, but I mean, there's not many people that you can put up against him that it won't be obvious who's going to go over.
Right.
Phil, you look like you're about to say something.
And
it's just
go ahead.
And real quick, Phil.
Yes.
It's just I see so much what AEW could do with this Forbidden Door. Now that you got MJF back, you got Ospreay in there, you got Okada in there, you got Mercedes Moné now. It's so much done. And when Ospreay won that title last night, I immediately is like, who the hell is going to take this title off of this man? Who the hell is capable enough right now in AEW to take this title off of Will Ospreay? Like I just don't know.
If they got him slotted to go against Swerve at the potentially against Swerve at the at All In, like they're gonna have to get it off of him in the next 6 months.
That's what I was saying. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, look, if they actually are gonna go with Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland at All in August, they are gonna have to take that title off of him within the next 3 months. They are.
Yeah.
I personally would actually want to see Will Ospreay defend that international title at All In, but like you guys are saying, if they actually are going to be going with, Ospreay and Swerve, which again I would love to see, you just have to figure out how you're actually going to be able to take the title off of Ospreay, because first of all, it's got to be somebody big. Secondly, whoever is actually going to be able to pin Will Ospreay, that's going to already make him a well-known commodity to that division in itself, because you're pinning Will fucking Ospreay. I mean, that's not an easy feat.
Yes.
You just gotta allow that to happen, and hopefully they'd be able to make it happen in a not like. I mean, obviously, it would have to be believable or realistic, but hopefully, you at least have fans on your side to where, all right, that should not have happened. Like, you gotta at least make it believable in a sense. So, like, okay, makes sense. Now let's see where Will Ospreay goes from here. And now he's no longer champion.
How about
again? That's all about the follow up after that.
How about
the bastard known as Pat? That will be a banger that only should belong in the next universe some damn where. That would be a match. Like literally, Jeremy, that match should be broadcast on Dragon Ball Z. That's how cool. That's how awesome it would be. Okay.
That's the level of talent that you have to put
There's so
against Will
much.
Ospreay to do anything of worth. To take
I
that
agree.
title from him, like even then, Pac was
Yeah.
what, the first All Atlantic champion. So it would be
Yeah.
fitting
Yes,
that
he was the
finally
first
gets the
champion of this
interna-
title.
Yeah.
that he gets the international title as not necessarily a consolation prize, but now you've had the title twice, but I mean in a different iteration of it. So
Yeah.
I personally, like, with Pac being out of the fold for a long time, it was really hard for me to see a decent line for internet. Like, you want to have the foreign talent that is the lesser showcased foreign talent that isn't in a world title picture per se to be in line for this title. And again, they have to be of a certain caliber. You can't just put anybody in up against Will Ospreay. So that's why I said Pac is probably the closest you could get to somebody who would really like meet that challenge appropriately. So, I don't know.
And yes, Patrick, you are correct. Pac, when Pac did win that title, he did go everywhere and defend that title. He did do that. He did do that, man. But
And
yeah,
that's exactly what one of the oh
go ahead,
sorry, there's a
Bill.
little bit of a
Go
lag
ahead.
here. I apologize. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, and that's exactly what one of the reporters was asking Will during the media scrum. I know if anybody watched the media scrum, you would know, but um one of the reporters was asking Will
Let's
if
get
he
the
would be able to have the opportunity as well to go around the world and defend the
right.
championship. Great stuff there. Yeah, just to go around the world and defend that championship. Let's see. Fuck, now I just lost everything that I had in my
Good
head.
what I
job,
do.
Trevor.
Regardless,
That's
Good
what I
job,
do.
Trevor.
Take everybody's train
that's
of thought.
exactly what you do. I know your fucking game. We've known each other for a little while now. This is our actual first interaction with each other
Yes,
online
it
like
is.
this, but I've
Yes,
known
sir.
you. Okay. Um, Look, if he's going to be able to defend this championship around the world, it's going to be great. It's going to be allowing him to make this the workhorse championship that he wants it to be. And whoever he defends the title at Forbidden Door against, it's going to be incredible. So I can't wait for it.
Hashtag bang.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna go into the next match. Death Triangle was defeated by Bullet Club Gold. I know we was talking about those guys earlier, and a nice surprise who I was shocked to see, a one Mr. Juice Rock Hard Robinson returns and gives Bullet
You were
Club Gold.
all hard after that.
Hey, I did mark out a little bit for that. I've been waiting on him to show back up, man. I'm still jealous that he got Tony Storm, but it's okay. I got Bailey. I got my Bailey. It's all good. And and now that the Bullet Club Gold is back in full effect, what is the next move for these guys? I know we talked about the Owen Cup. A lot of us, a few of us, a nice good handful of us, I should say, CJ White in this tournament to get a title shot at All In for the AEW World Title. Listen, I would love to see Jay White versus Swerve too. I think that'd be a fun, fantastic match too. But Bullet Club Gold, they defeated them. It was a great match. I gave this match a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 stars. It was it was fun seeing Juice Robinson helped. And what do you think the Bang Bang Gang is going next? And Mid Most Mark, you take the lead on this one. Go ahead. Don't be looking surprised. You know I'll call on you.
I know, and I appreciate it. No, coming out of this match, like we heard JD, most of us who listened to JD, we heard him say with Jesse that one of the referees were botching repeatedly throughout certain matches,
Oh
and
yes,
that was one of them.
yes.
But
Oh
all things
Mhm.
considered,
Yeah.
it comes down to this match was good. It could have been better.
Mhm.
Although what we saw, I mean, for real, I was just reeling that Jay White wasn't on a pre-show. I was
Yeah,
happy
for
that he
real.
was on the main show.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
for real.
him and Bullet
Yeah.
Club Gold have melded very well together over the months that they've actually been missing Juice, and they've had decent pre-show matches from what they've been on as well. Like I'd be reticent to say that they belonged on those on that show versus on the pre-show versus on the main card, but ultimately, like say, it was all right. It wasn't anything to write home about. My biggest thing about the match was that they all look strong.
Yes.
Um, as far as as far as the Lucha Bros and uh, Death Triangle, I really wanted them to go over just because I felt like the trios division needed a little bit of a refreshment or a little bit of a change. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you don't know the direction that they're thinking of things months down the line. You can only kind of ex- kind of anticipate, and whether it happens that way or not. Like say, I wasn't hurt or upset by the decision to for Bullet Club Gold to retain. It was more or less just them uh, being able to carry whatever momentum they can into the next feud, and however that builds them, uh, condescends their whole narrative. Uh, I feel like they're going to be around for a while, and with Forbidden Door around the corner, like you heard me say earlier, I think the Bullet Club from New Japan is going to try and have some kind of angle with Bullet Club Gold.
That's interesting. That is interesting. What are your thoughts about that, Phil?
I would actually like to see that. I mean, Bullet Club versus Bullet Club Gold, that would be really cool to see. But when it
Apologies.
comes down to this trios match right here, I too wanted to see Dead Triangle win those trios championships because I thought, I thought just like Jeremy here, I thought the trios division could use a little bit of a pick me up with Dead Triangle
They were,
as
well,
champions.
if I correct me if I'm wrong, they were the first trios champions.
The Bang Bang was they?
No, Death Triangle were the
The
first.
Oh yeah, Death
first
Triangle.
champions
Yeah.
were the Elite.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Omega and
Oh,
the Bucks.
okay, no,
Omega
you're
and
right,
the Bucks.
you're right. It was just
Right.
that long best
They,
of 7 that got
they,
me
they
a
were
little.
trios champions.
Yes, I know that, but just whether they were
They were
first.
trios champions after the title got vacated.
Yeah,
Got you.
that is right.
After the
That
titles
is
got vacated because they
No,
got
you're
vacated
right.
or whatever.
I
I
just
think that was because of
misremembered.
the whole out situation. So they won those titles. They did the whole best of 7 thing. The Elite won it back. The whole thing. But the fact of the matter is, I thought the division could have used a little bit of a pick me up. I thought the Death Triangle could have used these championships to really help that division grow. But I was not mad at the decision of them retaining the titles, them being Bullet Club Gold. I was completely shocked in the fact that Juice was back. I was.
yes.
He was not supposed to be back this soon. He was not. He was not supposed to be back this soon. I fully believe that. Um, I don't know if they rushed his comeback, but he was not supposed to be coming back so soon.
Well, and here's the
Now
thing
whether
about
that is actually
what they're
going to
telling about
be
us.
go
What they're
ahead.
telling us with
Yep,
what they're
go ahead.
telling us with the when they're updating us with medical conditions and oh well Kenny's thinking about he might have to have surgery. Like I'm still reticent to think that Kenny isn't like generally almost ready to go. Why would they be having him take bumps if he was about to if it was that dangerous for him to do that? So I feel like AEW has a very weird line that they hold this injury angle over people. If they're legitimate, if they're worked, how much of it is worked, how much of it is a shoot. There is just an element to what they're telling us versus what's actually going on behind the scenes that I feel like is a very much a disconnect. And that's where they're actually banking on because they want these people, they want us to be in the dark. and so they're not and to be surprised. So they're keeping that element of surprise alive. And so whether Kenny is 85% and just still rehabbing and getting ring ready again, reconditioning himself, or if he was about to go under the knife, like I really think that's already happened.
I kind of
But
feel
that's
you on
a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. But the whole I think that they are very. I think they try and foil the fan perception of injuries. Just that's what I had to say.
They definitely blur the lines, and they blur the lines in that sense so that we can legitimately be excited about when things happen. I mean, let's take a look at this whole Juice Robinson situation. We know the back injury was pretty severe from what we were told.
right.
It was going to be a pretty severe back injury that was going to, take him out for. I heard it was going to be 8 to 10 months, and I was like, "Damn, that is a long time for both
Yeah.
Club Gold to be without their rock hard
A
companion."
lot of time for a diagnosis
But he came
to
back.
heal a very superficial injury, though. So I mean,
Right.
we
So I was
expect
like,
one
okay,
thing and
very interesting.
keep the expectations at a certain level, so we're surprised whenever it happens. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I mean, let's just face it here too. I mean, AEW is not really all that conventional in terms of where surprises happen on cards.
No.
I mean, we saw MJF come back into the fold on the second segment of the show.
It's too early.
And
So
you know that
early.
could have been saved.
Well, and,
Yes.
You know that could have been saved, but
here's my thing.
they did that on the second part of the show to say, "Hey, here he is. Let's go." Like,
Yeah.
wow.
For real.
They're not conventional with that at all.
Well, and
Go ahead,
and
Jeremy.
I've got things to say about this too. But like they brought MJF back and he's pretty much ready to go. But
Yeah.
like when it comes to Mercedes, they brought her in March 15th, whatever, right around St. Patrick's Day and around Big Business. You were there. You were
I
there
was
for
at
that.
big business, yes. I
And
mean, it was
I feel like
amazing.
that was very much hot shotted for the simple fact is, we're AEW is under such scrutiny, we're always under attack, and there's all this idea up in the air that we're dying. We got Mercedes. Fuck y'all. We got Mercedes. We ain't dying. And then they let her fucking ride the next 2.5 months before she has her first match. So there was something, and I was listening to the scrum last night and like, when are you going to ask these questions? And when they finally did, they gave them the roundabout answers. Well, we just thought it was the right time for this and then the right time for that. So you weren't still hesitant on being ready and reconditioning and all this stuff? Well,
Right.
I mean,
No.
she said that she was signed in December. They didn't do anything until March because of Boston. And then they didn't do anything until May because apparently she wasn't cleared. When on the first night she was there, and again, I was there, so I know, she did her first bump. She did her finish to
Yes, she
Sky.
did. She
So I
did.
was like, okay, so
did.
you're not
where are the
so you're
lines
not
blurred?
cleared when you did your finisher to guy to the woman?
Like, what constitutes being cleared
I
at what point?
Like that's
right,
100%. That's 100%
right.
correct.
So,
It took them 5 months. 5 months for Mercedes to get in the ring, and eventually she won the TBS championship. Now, can we sit here and say that she was ready to go by when she got signed because she was still dealing with that injury? I guess she was still dealing with the injury, but the whole time that she was on TV, she always had a mic. It was always CEO, CEO, and then until next week, and it's the same thing. You did this for so long.
Yeah.
Even Jaden was like, "When are we going to see her? We need to see the ring work first."
I'm
They
just
didn't
waiting
give us
for
the ring work.
DMD. DMD.
They gave her the title
they
on her
did
first actual
an-
match. Go ahead, Phil.
they did an attack angle in the back when she was being interviewed by not Alberhantes,
Exactly.
Alex
Uh,
Marvez.
yeah,
And
Marvez. And
so
exactly.
if you're going to be doing an attack angle, now obviously, attack angles can happen in various different ways or whatever to make it seem like she actually did get attacked. But
Mhm.
if you're gonna do an attack angle, you have to
Don't
at
do it
least
like
think in the back of
Carlito.
your head
Don't
in
do an
terms of
attack.
being a fan.
Yeah.
Don't do an
Right.
attack
I mean,
angle
you
like
have to think
Carlito.
at least in the back of your head as a fan. Okay, so if you're going to be doing an attack angle, she has to be at least okay to do that while she's
Thank you.
still quote unquote injured.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a thing.
That was the same. That was the same thing that I thought. That was the same thing that I thought about when Kenny Omega came back when they was in Canada, and Kenny Omega came back. Talk about his tuberculosis and stuff. Talking about one more fatal shot to the gut, and it could cost him his career, basically, maybe his life. And what does Jack Perry come out there and do? He hits the man with a
Right.
chair.
For an
Like,
object.
like what the hell? And so
Right,
it's
yeah.
I don't know. I know me and German, we talked about this on my show and on Rob's show and on his show. The spots, like, if you're like, you can't be this stupid. If you're injured to a certain degree to where, if I take a shot that could be fatal, then you have you're good to go. You're damn near close to
They're
as
not
being.
going to take those kind of risks if they're not even close to
Thank
ready.
you. Thank you. Yeah. You're not going to do
Yes.
that if
Yes.
it doesn't call for you. Like, Omega was this far from being ready to go. So I'm sure that by the time All In gets here,
Right now,
he'll
they're
be
just
100% ready to go. So I mean, that's just how I feel. But I mean, I
unless
guess
there was a report that Omega specifically is getting ready to go under the knife, like as the report is coming out, like I'm firmly in the belief that he's already, if not healed, he's already had the surgery. So yeah, it's just one of
what's
those
going
things.
on, Kratos?
What's up, Kratos? As far who were we talking about with the injury angle initially? Because I know I'm good at diverting and
Well,
segmenting.
there's a
Oh,
lot.
Juice.
It's
Juice
a lot.
because of the back.
And we
Right.
talked about Juice right now.
Juice again. If he's ready, if he's on TV. Granted, he didn't really do a whole lot, but if he's ready, I don't think he would be on TV. If he wasn't ready, I don't think he'd be on TV.
Fair point. Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not. All right, we're gonna move on to another one of the low points of the pay-per-view yesterday. Still a good match. Still a good match, but it just wasn't a top-tier match. I am talking about Mr. Freshly Squeezed, Orange Cassidy, taking on Trent. This was a good match. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Orange Cassidy defeated Trent via pin. Don Callis had a backstage segment after the match, and he says on Wednesday he's going to present either Orange Cassidy or Trent with the family with the Callis family contract to join the Callis family. I spoke with Jeremy earlier today, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Phil. How do you feel? See what I did there? See what I did there? See what I did there? How do you feel
Yeah.
about
It's
a
a thing.
heel
Got it.
Orange Cassidy? How do you feel about a heel Orange Cassidy joining the Callis family?
Bubonics.
I don't know. I don't know if it could work. I don't know if it could work. I just think that with the way that I just think that with the way
Phil.
Orange Cassidy is,
Like, hold on. Before you finish,
Go
Phil.
ahead.
Before you finish, I'm gonna have to
ahead.
pull a Kanye West on you real quick. I'm gonna have to put a Kanye West on you. Before you finish, I got something to say, Phil. I think it's interesting. You get your Orange Cassidy. He comes out with the babyface look and the clothes, the bright colors, the blue jeans, the thumbs up, or the thumbs up, whatever you want to call it. Imagine Orange Cassidy coming out with black jeans. And instead of coming out and giving you the thumbs up, he give you like the slight middle finger or something. Like, it's hard to picture. I understand that, but a different side of Orange Cassidy. And I told Jeremy this earlier. Maybe Tony Khan sees, because let's face it, we all know that Orange Cassidy is one of TK's favorite people in the world. Okay, he definitely is. Maybe Tony Khan is like, we're going to put you on that John Cena route, that you can never go heel type character because of his character and the way that he is and how laid back he is and stuff. But I have seen Orange Cassidy turn the heat up. If he were to turn heel, that means he probably would have to get rid of this laziness moniker, this lazy character that he's doing in AEW, and be a more aggressive Orange Cassidy. Maybe he'll be spiked Orange Cassidy or something. Orange juice with alcohol in it. What are your thoughts, Phil? What are your thoughts?
He'll be called Mimosa.
Look,
good one.
there
Good
you
one.
go.
Go ahead, Phil.
Look,
Go
I
ahead.
don't mind if Orange Cassidy has a different side to him, as in more of an aggressive side to him. That's fine. Because ultimately, I would kind of want to see more of that. Because I think with the 5 years that AEW's been in existence, we've seen this Orange Cassidy for the 5 years. There's got to be more progression with Orange Cassidy than just the thumb up guy and, lightly fist bumping the kids. I mean, there's more to him than this. We already know he's a great in-ring performer, but there's more to him than just the thumb up and lightly tapping kids' hands. So if it gets a more aggressive side out of him, I'm all for it. It's just, again, this is just the thing with AEW. How are you going to be able to carry that on? Because now with Trent Beretta, Trent lost last night. And I think that was a huge mistake, personally, by AEW. Because if you're going to have Trent Beretta be this heel character, why didn't you have him win? Orange Cassidy didn't need the win. Orange Cassidy didn't need the win at all.
I like the way this guy thinks.
Needed this win.
This guy thinks.
It's just common sense at that point. Trent Beretta needed this win.
It is
to carry on this heel gimmick. Because if you're not, you already had him lost. That's it. And now he said he's done with everything. Yeah. What are you done with? Are you done with AEW? Are you going to leave now? So Trent needed the win, and Orange Cassidy didn't. Point
he did. He did. And let me ask you, Phil, because I asked Jeremy this question earlier. How many pay-per-view matches have Orange Cassidy lost?
I can't remember one. I mean, probably multi-man matches, but I can't remember one singles matchup.
Oh God! I don't even think I don't remember not one match Orange Cassidy has lost on a pay-per-view. Literally,
well, he lost it.
I guess what Roderick Strong when he had the international championship. Yeah, maybe that was the only time he lost.
Well, yeah.
So, piggybacking off of what Bill just said,
and that was even a shocker to me because I didn't think Roderick Strong was going to win the title. I didn't.
It was
I had
It
a
was a
feeling.
weird.
I had a feeling he would. I did.
It was a weird dynamic. Obviously, Roderick Strong and Will Ospreay, uh, going about it at this point. But when you go to Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy, you want to put that right person. Roderick Strong at the time, he's still dealing with the Undisputed Kingdom and that whole devil, the tail end of whatever devil storyline that came along with that. And so you got to kind
Right.
of think like what kind of caliber talent could take this from Orange Cassidy because he's been put over in such a way. And like and I'm leading into how this whole thing transcends with Trent. Um there is such a dynamic when you come to uh having the title again. I'm sorry, I'm stammering for a second. Phil, you were talking about how you agreed that uh or at least you thought that Trent should have won and Orange Cassidy should have lost this match because he didn't need the win. And I firmly,
He did.
firmly agree. They had been building this entire friendship storyline with him and Chuck for better part of a decade, if not over, ever
This is like
since
day
pretty much
one. Literally since
ever
day one,
since they
Jeremy.
were in
Literally since day
WWE
one.
after Trent left WWE. And so you've
Mhm.
got this whole friendship, best friends storyline, and they are like, you picture your best friend, like your best friend as a kid, and you guys are just inseparable. You guys do everything together, and this other guy comes in. And Orange Cassidy, he at that point was kind of directionless when they put him with best friends. He was just that guy who just whatever. I'm here.
Yeah.
And they just slotted him with best friends. And that made sense at the time, as much as we all were just, okay, okay. It
Yeah.
makes sense. Nobody had an argument against it.
I was
And
happy
Right.
to
I
so,
stick with
agree.
it. I tried.
I agree.
Tried.
so now Trent is, after all this time, Orange Cassidy got the spotlight for whatever reason, because I mean, obviously TK likes him, but they needed a way to put Orange Cassidy in more meaningful feuds than just, oh, I'm just going to go into a match with a lazy guy. Okay, cool. And so the idea of bringing him to a friendship storyline, regardless of how uh, silly and rudimentary, elementary you want to call it, it had a lot of traction. There are a lot of Best Friends fans. And the fact that this didn't get as much traction kind of upset me. Um,
Yeah.
but the booking upset me worse because
Yeah.
you've got Trent who is this upset over somebody who is he's kayfabe claiming is a narcissist, and we all don't see behind the scenes just how he is. And maybe he's exactly like what we're saying, like what he's saying, but we won't know. And then they had him go over, which basically unjustifies everything that Trent is saying. And
Yeah.
so that's where I'm upset about the booking because, again, Orange Cassidy has been on such a tear in his career in AEW. He doesn't need a fucking win. He can afford the loss and still keep the fucking allure to his character. But when it comes to Trent and they separated him off on a tangent and had him off on trying to be the martyr of his friendship. And then it comes to this. He's in this big uh, grudge match, dare I say, against Orange Cassidy, and then he loses. He's got new music. He's got new Titantron. He's got a new look. Mine, like, obviously, there's not much you could do with his physical appearance, but giving him new clothes and new look,
Right.
Maybe a little bit
just it's
more.
they
Like
put on
look.
this switch in him, and now they're
Right.
not going to follow through.
Right here, Jeremy. Look. Dark Ace just said. It's kind of like on par what you just saying right now. What Mr. Dark Ace is saying. Like Like we know how Orange Cassidy is, but like what Trent did to Chuck, but he goes too far with Orange Cassidy and make Orange Cassidy turn into something that he don't want to be. That's an
Right.
interesting
And
worry.
here's another thing: trying to make what we were saying about making
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy heel or changing his character. What I was telling Otis earlier is there's not much you can really do unless you drastically change this man's character.
Yeah.
Like fundamentally change his character, because to make him a heel, you can't just have somebody who I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna beat up people because I'm mad
Whatever.
at them. Like you can't
You know.
you can't put that kind of heat on somebody who just doesn't care. You
Mhm.
can't.
And I agree with you on that.
No.
I mean, he barely talks anyway, so you got to get around that obstacle. You got to get
Right.
around that obstacle, and
And
I don't
so
know, like
yeah.
the non-talking thing. It's just interesting to me because I don't know if like the Orange Cassidy character. I mean, he doesn't talk much. I don't know if that's just based on the fact of he's just not comfortable on the mic, or if he's just really, if he's just not in the department of just doing promos. He just wants to be in the
In the
ring.
ring.
And some guys are just not meant to be for promos, and that's fine. But that's also why you can have somebody like Don Callis be there for him, because he can talk for Orange.
And yeah,
And
and
Orange
let
can
me
just do the
piggyback off
in-ring
that
stuff.
though. Having that kind of character though, yeah, that it just invites the idea that this person doesn't care again. So like my whole idea, like if you really want to change Orange Cassidy, you need to and make him appeal to a bigger audience. You need to completely like at the very least, put some size on the guy. Put some size on the guy. Take off the sunglasses. Keep everything else. Take off the sunglasses. Now I'm
True.
serious.
We sat here and we talked about the Owen Cup. I think Orange Cassidy would be a good addition to be a part of that Owen Cup on the men's side. Maybe something in that Orange Cup. Maybe Don Callis gets into his ear and makes him be a little more I ain't gonna say sadistic, but just a little heelish than what Orange Cassidy might think, or on what Orange Cassidy's perception of what a heel to him is. I can see Don Callis just like what Dark Asia said in this comment about like Callis got into Orange's head and managed him to convince him to destroy Trent. What if he does that to everybody for Orange? Like, hey, he did this, he did that, and it just psychs and pumps Orange Cassidy up, and then he just starts going ballistic on his opponents to kind of bring
That's gonna
out
lead me
that
on
dark
another
side.
tangent, though. That's gonna lead me on to another tangent on how TK is booking the shows,
Okay,
and
that's fair.
he's gotta stop
That's fair.
putting certain people. He's got to stop making. We're trying to suspend disbelief here, not be predictable.
Yeah, but and that's fair, But
Fair
I
point.
just figured it'd be interesting. I wish Trent would have won that match because I think the story with Trent winning would have been better, or per storyline with Orange Cassidy and the Callis family and stuff like that. I think that would have went a lot more better if Trent would have won that match. So, but I did give that about a 3 out of 5. It was a decent match. Cassidy did win on Wednesday. Wednesday on Dynamite, we're going to see who that contract is going to go to from Don Callis.
I
All
will
right,
say,
moving
out
on. Go ahead.
of all the matches, this one, like I had it pegged that Trent was going to win, and this is one of my predictions, and I threw my hat across the fucking room. I was so mad, and you asked Kayla, it was hilarious. Like she was like, and I was like, I was wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah, it definitely would have made sense if he
This
would
was
have
one of the
won.
matches that I got wrong out of all of it
Yeah. Yep.
for my
I
predictions.
did
I
too.
had
'cause
I had 3 predictions wrong. This was wrong. This was one of them.
Oh no. I definitely had Trent winning. I was nice. I was like, this is the pay-per-view Orange Cassidy's gonna finally lose. I was wrong. I should have known TK is not gonna do his boy wrong. I should have known. Triple
We
threat
were
match.
wrong. We were all wrong.
I mean, Orange Cassidy's only lost.
On pay-per-view.
I mean, Orange Cassidy's only lost 14 matches in the last 2 years. I mean, we can't do it.
14. Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
and Kayla can confirm. Yes.
Yep.
14 matches in 2 years. Wow. Unbelievable.
14 matches in the last 2 years. And here's a shout out to Cage Match, Tony, your favorite goddamn website, because you love that website so much. Yeah.
Should be Rotten Tomatoes, but we're not gonna go there.
Yeah.
Damn critics.
Yeah. 2023. Yeah. Yeah, 2023. The man was 54-9. 2024, 24-5. So I mean, the man has lost like 14 matches only in 2 years. It's should have known he was gonna win.
I've got another segue topic. Kayla can confirm. I've got another segue topic. Where the fuck are the rankings?
Oh.
For real, where are they? Like, what do they matter? Like, we
look, Jeremy, hold on. Before you blow your top, Phil talked about this earlier. Listen, I don't believe in the rankings no more. I don't even know why they came back.
They don't mean shit.
Why?
I want to make a shirt to go.
They didn't make
show and be like, believe in the rankings. Believe in them.
They didn't mean shit. They didn't mean shit when they came back, and I knew they weren't going to mean shit when the second week of them being back was the first time that they updated them, quote unquote, and then they waited 3 months for the next update to happen.
Okay.
And then they haven't done it since February.
Question. I'm the host, at least for the next couple minutes. Otis, how do you feel about the booking right now as it is, with or without the rankings? What makes more sense at this point? And could it make sense if they reintroduce the rankings? We're going to go to him first. He's the real host.
No.
But
first, I'm going to answer that question right now. Absolutely not. No. They don't matter. They shouldn't have brought him back the second time. I said this before. When CM Punk was in AEW and he said, let's deal away with the rankings, he knew exactly what the hell he was doing. He knew what he was doing, and he was right. As soon as he left and they brought back rankings, everything went to shit. The rankings didn't even fucking matter any fucking more. I don't even know why the fuck they are even still being talked about. I better not see another ranking update. I don't give a fuck what anybody's record is in AEW right now. I don't care if you're a champion. I don't care if you're undefeated. I don't care if you lost every single fucking match. They don't matter. And Mercedes Moné is an attest to that. And yes, I'm going to go on a little rant about this because they made a big deal at the beginning of the fucking year about these fucking rankings. And as soon as they brought them back within 2 weeks, they ain't shit anymore. That angered me. Because the first time I'm thinking, okay, well, wins and losses do matter. CM Punk said, let's deal away with it. I'm like, okay, fine. We're going to deal away with it. We was getting great stories. Collision was good. Dynamite was good. And as soon as CM Punk leaves, okay, let's bring back the rankings. The first half of this year, from the beginning of this year till I would say what about the middle of March, AEW was subpar. After WrestleMania weekend, after the back and forth between WWE and AEW and the classic petty TK, all of a sudden AEW started building a little bit of smoke. They started, and then it became storylines. AEW didn't focus enough on storylines, but just this past month, they actually started focusing on storylines with this Elite versus AEW thing. Rankings better not come back. I don't want to see rankings. I don't care what the fuck a Will Ospreay has. I don't care what a fucking Miro or Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Will Hobbs have. No. Do not introduce rankings no more. I don't hear rankings on AEW TV anymore because clearly they don't matter. They don't matter. They don't matter to Tony Khan. They don't matter to the
He kicked his router again.
AEW.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, this I forgot to preface this. This is the
They
segment
don't
where
matter
we
to us.
intentionally trigger Big O, and this is
They don't matter to upper management. As long, yeah, I do apologize. I am a little laggy. I do
catch up.
apologize. Goddamn internet. I'm sorry. My bad. But I do
Well,
not
no,
want to
I couldn't help. I had to inform him. This is the segment. I forgot to preface
Yeah, when
where
I go,
we
when I go on my rants, yeah, for some reason when I start going on my rants, my internet wants to kind of glitch out on me. Or
Well, you
StreamYard.
start kicking shit.
Yeah, well, hell, well, you know what I mean. Shit, goddammit. You know what the hell the fuck I be trying to say, Jeremy. I better not see rankings in AEW. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Fuck the rankings in AEW.
Yeah, I have no desire to see any more rankings. Phil, how do you feel about said subject?
Yeah.
Fuck him. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out.
Get them the hell
They never
out.
mattered.
We don't need
They never
them.
mattered in the
I
first
like
place.
the way this guy thinks. I really like it.
We don't.
They never mattered. They
hate-
never mattered in the first place. They didn't.
I hate.
I was very okay. When they first start, okay. I want to say this first because
Uh-oh. Phil finna go on a rant, y'all. Hold on, Phil. Tell him how you really feel. Tell him how you really feel, Phil. Give it to him, Phil. Give it to him. Let's go. Ooh, get him. Get him, Phil.
Oh shit! I'm all alone here. Okay. Look.
Get him.
When they first actually initially started the ranking system in AEW, I was like, okay, wins and losses are actually going to matter. Then things happened, they fell off, whatever, fine, whatever. Then they did the second iteration. And the second iteration, they didn't do an updated version of the rankings until the second week. Fine. But then you wait 3.5 months to do the, second version of them. And I was like, okay, how, when, where, and who the fuck are these people that are in these top fives? Because now, the top fives, I don't know where these top five should be. Number 1 is the world, number 2 is the international, number 3 is they never explained to us how these rankings are going to be structured. That's one thing that I absolutely always hated about him. And secondly, you don't need the rankings to tell fucking great stories.
Exactly.
You don't. You never needed the rankings to tell a story. You can put somebody on number 1 contender and say, okay, let's figure out how you can actually build between these two. But I'm just going to use this as an example again. This casino gauntlet match that's going to be happening on Wednesday or whenever it's going to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
You crown your number 1 contender for the world championship in this matchup. That's fine. But now you have to use those other weeks to use that number 1 contender that you build and your champion in Swerve Strickland, and you make a compelling story out of that. You don't always need a ranking system to build a story. Just crown a number 1 contender and make your contender go after that champion in a compelling way. It's
Right.
You never needed the rankings.
No.
Never.
And I'm gonna finish my little spiel before I pass it back up to Big O for regular scheduled programming. But no, my idea on the rankings, why you were trying to make AEW the alternative and establish a new format that we hadn't been necessarily privy to, or we just hadn't ever gotten it. And sorry, yep. stuff lying around. Now, so the idea that we've got a system in which we're trying to rank individuals to slot them for matches that rank them higher and higher up the card, or vice versa, based on your win-loss record.
Right.
They want to make things so different from the norm, what we're used to from WWE. But what I feel like, I've seen your show a few times, but I like say again, I don't necessarily follow everything you say. There are a lot of changes that have happened within the AEW way of doing things. Like, they've hired Jennifer Pepperman, they've hired a bunch of people from WWE, ex WWE employees, because they very much want to follow a desirable storyline format that
Right.
will make it appeal to the more casual fan. Because
Right.
there's no denying that WWE has that foothold on generally like, you can't mention if you mention wrestling to the casual, they're WWE, they're not ever going to mention AEW. So the idea that AEW has brought in all of these ex WWE employees has been literally to give them a more appealing approach to the way they do their TV. But
But wait a minute,
they've
Jeremy.
also done
But wait a minute, Jeremy. Remember what MJF said when he was ranting to Tony Khan, like, you're going to bring all these ex WWE guys to make you happy. And like, it's just, look, I've called MJF the modern day CM Punk, especially when it comes to the pipe
Well,
bombs and
it's
stuff.
different. It's different when you come
Oh,
when it gets down to the talent versus the
But
people who are producing
and
the
that was
show.
really the talent.
yeah, it is really the talent.
Yeah, that was the
Yes.
talent.
So,
It's a
and
totally different dynamic when you're talking about the
yeah,
people who are producing and the creative process of the show. And so that's what I'm saying, is that the reason we're seeing all of these similarities and parallels to the way WWE used to be is because we have all this influx of people producing the show from WWE
mhm.
initially. And so they're going to do things a certain way that they want to do things. You've got uh, several people, at least a handful in the production team alone, that are ex WWE employees. So, I mean, these people, although invaluable to TK in their own way, have made themselves very apparent to the fans based on what we're seeing on television week to week. So
I
either
agree.
way, I just wanted to segue with that. If there's any additional comments, whatever, we can go back to regular scheduled program.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Phil, you got anything you want to add on top of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
No,
mean,
I just don't
I
care
agree
about the
with
rankings anymore, and I just want them gone.
There's no
Get
fucking
rid of
point.
them, TK. Get rid of them, TK. No more rankings. Just throw them out the window. Punk was
I mean,
right.
they're basically
There was
gone
no
anyway
place-
now because they
There was
own.
a
I
point
hope
for
so.
them initially, but since
I
they
mean, they
veered so
basically are
far
already
away,
gone.
they veered so far away from them at such a point when they said that they were going back to them, that I just can't trust that assertion at all anymore. They just need to book. TK just needs to book how he feel is deserved amongst the current format. And yeah,
Right.
that's all. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, moving on to the next match. Triple threat match for the FTW Championship. Chris Jericho, your champion, taking on Hook versus Shibata.
Of course, this had to be the
Man,
next match we talk about.
uh, I wrote down the spots. I thought the kendo stick spots was pretty cool. The table spots was pretty good. When Big Bill went crashing through the table, and I briefly got terrified because I thought he was so close to almost getting impaled by one of those legs. And thank God that he didn't get hit by it. Um, I think what else happened? Oh, Brian Keith, newest member of the Learning Tree for Chris Jericho. What are your guys? I'm gonna start off with Phil. Phil, what are your thoughts about that match right there?
Oh boy. So it was a match.
It was a match.
It was a match.
It was a match.
and Jericho
However much
won.
unsanctioned.
Yep, he did. He did.
And
Oh,
Brian Keith showed up.
he did.
I mean, to be fair, Phil, I was using the bathroom. I had a nice BM during this movement, during this match. So yeah, I caught the tail end of it. I didn't give a shit about it anyway, even though I was giving a shit to the toilet.
I didn't care. I was doing other content creation stuff during
You
this
had
match.
better
I mean,
things to
I
do.
simply did not give a shit about this.
When
Yeah.
this match was on,
I
was on my
simply
way
do
home.
not care. Look, if you're going, look, fucking
Here's your
Jericho.
Jericho.
The fact of the matter, if you're doing this learning tree type shit, if you're going to make another stable in this goddamn company, as if there's not that many stables enough as it is, respect to Big Bill. I like
Right.
Big Bill personally,
Big Bill is
but you
definitely
gotta put better
his
people
comeback
in this
has
shit.
been next to none. I can appreciate Big Bill for sure.
You gotta put better people in this. Brian Keith. Look, I don't know much.
He's
don't know
not
much
going
about
after
Brian,
anybody.
okay?
Who do you
So,
see?
and, you
Whose
know,
bounty do you see him collecting these days, Phil? Seriously, he's not collecting any bounties.
I don't watch Ring of Honor. I don't watch Ring of Honor, so who the fuck cares about Ring of Honor?
Okay.
But it's just you gotta put better people in this thing in order for me to care. You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Right.
And look, Hook is gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he's out of here. You know, he's out.
Yeah,
He's out
what's
of the
this, his
freaking
last match?
ballpark. Like he's a home
Was
run.
this his last match?
Yeah.
I don't think that was the last match, but I mean, he will be gone.
Oh yeah, within the next 6 months or whenever.
I mean,
he'll be gone. I think.
So I mean, he will be gone.
Yeah, I think Taz will be gone too. I think
The end
Taz
of
is going to
Shawn
be
Michaels'
gone.
learning tree.
Yeah, Deshaun Mike. Yeah, I think Taz is going to be gone too. I really do. If Hook leaves, Taz is going to. I just don't see Taz staying there, and Hook is in WWE. Taz is going to go there. He'll probably end up being a coach, or he'll probably be on the broadcast of NXT or something. Because I would rather have Taz than Booker T on NXT. I'm sorry.
Nobody can be mad about Taz leaving AEW to go follow his son, because at this point you put over the younger talent.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
But yeah, Jericho won. What a terrible. But hey, look, from here on out, the rest of the match.
This was the lowest point of the match. This was the lowest point of the night for me, other than the whole Orange Cassidy winning against Trent.
Like I say, as much as I enjoyed the Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta match, yes, this was the low point for sure.
It was bottom of absolutely. Next match, Jon Moxley defeats Kanoa Takesha in the IWGP Championship qualifying match. That's basically what it is.
Phil, you're moving off of this.
Like, Takesha, just get to the back of the line, bro. Like, I feel that there's some tension between Takesha and Don Callis. Could Takesha possibly be getting ready to leave the Don Callis family? Maybe he'll turn babyface. You know, I told German earlier when we was on the phone that you kick out Takesha, bring in Trent. You know, as far as, replacing one for the other. But it was a good match. I love Jon Moxley. When AEW was here in OKC for Dynamite, me and the bro from the Mo, we went to the show, had a blast. Jon Moxley was literally 2 feet away from me. 2 feet away from me. And I got it on video. It's actually on my channel, during the Dynamite takeover here in OKC when John Moxley was right by me and a bro from the Mo.
There are times
Absolutely.
where I wonder who's the bigger mark.
Well, I'm not. Look, listen, guys. I'm not afraid to say it.
We don't need to argue semantics. No, not on this
It was
time.
my first AEW show that I went to. You damn right I marked out. Especially, and me and Phil, we talked about it earlier, the Continental Classic tournament that they had. I had the me and Jeremy, we had the opportunity to watch Roosh versus Swerve. Roosh versus Swerve. Your boy was on TV.
Roosh.
More times than one. I got the sign. I got
Yeah. Well, we were on TV all over the. I'm
was
sure
seen
you've
all
seen
over AEW TV.
Oh yeah, I saw both of you.
Hold up.
I saw the both of you. So I mean,
There's just a
I
bunch of
definitely
clowns
saw it.
walking out in the crowd. Yep, Swerve when I drive.
Y'all see this
Yeah,
right here?
yeah. That's the sign I saw, and I was like, yeah,
And Phil, you
that's it.
will be very surprised to know that I made that sign in record time in the parking lot going to the venue. And
That's always the sign you have, yeah, with the OTS,
I made that sign in record time, and Jeremy was like, "Holy hell, you made that sign fast as shit." I did that in the car.
We were just sitting there. We were pre-gaming and basically tailgating, just right around the corner from the venue. We were just chilling, and he's within a half hour, he had that sign done, and I was just shit. Like the amount of time that I put into making that sign, and I even cut it down. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. But no, all things considered, no. What were we getting to with Takeshita and who did he face at Moxley? Yes. Okay.
Mox.
Well, yeah. Getting back to the show, Moxley, and that's the thing with when they do these eliminator matches, they want to make them believable. And so I can understand and get down with the fact that they wanted to give Takeshita based on the pay-per-view. Based on the pay-per-view, they wanted to give Takeshita a good match, regardless of whether he was going to win or lose. If it was an eliminator, being an eliminator match, if Takeshita won, he'd have a world title match at Dominion, right? Or no, he's already got that against Evil. Sorry.
Wait, is that the next Japan show?
He'd have it at Forbidden Door. And so I wanted to give it weight, but at the same time, we don't necessarily see Takeshita in New Japan very much. So whether their backing was completely behind him at that point or not, they didn't give him the green light on the win for the eliminator match. So I again, it was just another match to go on the pay-per-view. It was filler. It could have happened on a Dynamite. It could have happened on a Collision. I wouldn't have put it on the page just because it adds that much weight. But I wouldn't have put it on this show. No.
Phil, your thoughts?
I call eliminator matches in AEW stat padding matches.
I do. That's a good one.
Because Jeremy, not to completely disagree with you on your point, when you're saying that eliminator matches, you kind of want to see them, or they kind of make believable. Not really. They don't usually make them believable. This was probably the most believable eliminator match I've ever seen in AEW, because whenever somebody's in an eliminator match against a champion, it's somebody that we already know is going to lose. to the
Well,
champion.
maybe
So
based on the pay-per-view standards that we're at, we want to have a good match regardless of whether it's an eliminator or not. But being an eliminator is where I was saying is that
that's fair.
on a pay-per-view, we need a good match instead of just a 5-minute bullshit like non
You need to make
inconsequential
it believable.
right.
Mhm. I
Right.
agree. I agree
So
100%.
right.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
this one right here was the most believable one out of all of them. And this is one of the 3 matches that I got wrong in my predictions because I wanted to Kesha to win this matchup here so he can get this matchup at Forbidden Door. I did. And
Yes.
then all of a sudden, like when people were saying in my comment section on TikTok, because I do the predictions on my TikTok page, saying, Phil, what the hell are you even fucking talking about? John Moxley never loses, especially on pay-per-view. And yes, I should have known that. I should
I
have
wouldn't
known
know.
that.
He didn't even
But I'm
bleed
like, guys,
I don't even think
I'm
he
just
bled last night.
no, he didn't.
No, he
He
didn't.
did
He
not.
didn't.
So I
He
was
did
like,
not.
guys, I understand where you're coming from. John Moxley never loses, especially on pay-per-view, but this is probably one of the only times where it kind of would have made sense to get to a next match at Forbidden Door. That's the only
And
reason why I kind of thought it could have happened.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been mad if it. I wouldn't have been mad if he lost. I wouldn't have been mad if he lost. I'm sorry, Otis. I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I wouldn't have been mad if he lost. But the
Mhm.
idea that you got such a eliminator matches, I mean, regardless of who you listen to, everybody thinks they're boring and they're lazy. It's lazy booking. And
I think it don't make
so
sense. I just don't think they
some of
make
them
sense.
do.
Why
Some
would
of
you
them
go out
do.
and challenge the champion instead of building your way up to challenge the champion? You got to take on the champion to get a title shot. That's so WWE.
And that's
Well, they did
uh,
wasn't championship contender matches before in WWE, and then they just did it here.
Mhm.
they've
Mhm.
been doing eliminator matches or contender matches
They did
in
it before that, yeah.
AEW for
Yeah, they have.
as long as I can remember. And when they started doing them, I was like, you don't have any direction. But no, the idea is that yes, they've hired a lot of WWE people who have probably gotten in DK's ear and given him a certain format that they know that works. And so I can't argue with certain aspects that he's just been directed in that actually do work. But with the eliminator matches, it's a lazy booking that you're just trying to throw somebody in there and hope shit sticks. Throwing shit at a wall and hoping it
Fair.
sticks.
That's fair. That's fair. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. This just build your roster up and have somebody legitimate enough to go after Moxley, even though Moxley is holding the title from another company. There's no way. I don't see nobody else in AEW that's going to take that title off of Moxley. It's somebody in New Japan that's going to take that title off of Moxley at Forbidden Door. Whether it be Hiroshi Tanahashi, whether it be Evil or Sonata, it could be David Finley. Like I don't know, but he's going to drop that title at Forbidden Door. I can almost punch a ticket for that.
Yeah.
So
Again, Phil, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Again, Otis, I just wanted to tell
I-
Phil, like, I'm not trying to be contentious with you. I'm just saying that at a certain point, like, it just
Mhm.
I agree, like, Takeshita deserves a spot and very much a main card spot, whether he wins a title or not. I just don't necessarily think that he was particularly ready for the IWGP title. But I would not have been mad if that was the direction they
Yeah.
went.
right, same here. Speaking of Takesha, I do feel that he also will be in the Owen Cup. So
Yeah,
you can
that's a good
almost
spot.
get that. You
It'll
can
work for
almost
him.
put that one right there.
Yeah, it'll work for him.
All right, all right. Now we get into now we get into the steak.
Well, I like meat.
Barbed
Potatoes.
wire steel cage match. Adam Copeland defeats
Quadruple
Malachi
main event
Black.
basically coming up.
I'm gonna reserve some of my statements just because when I was watching this match, I was also being benched. I don't want to talk about it.
Let's not bring that here. Look. That's
I know.
reserved for the
No. I was just saying I missed some of this match because I was having it out and not being able to. Yeah, it was upsetting. But no, you guys
don't make
have it out.
don't make
My
father of the
opinion.
Bay Resort come in here and start correcting things again. All right. Don't make me switch my hat. Because if I switch my hat, that means I'm turning into dad mode. All right.
Yes, do it, Daddy. Do it.
Adam Copeland defeats Malachi Black in the barb cage wire match. This was a fantastic, absolutely match, man. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can't say enough. Some of the spots that I wrote down. The House of Black came out and teased a betrayal of Malachi, but I know we're smarter than that, right? We're smarter than that. They did give us a nice little swerve. I thought that was pretty cool. And Gangrel comes out, and helps Adam Copeland or Edge. People still call him Edge. You can call him both now. Helps Adam Copeland retain the TNT Championship. Guys, and I'm going to start with the mid-most mark. Actually, I'm going to start with Phil. Is this your match of the night?
You know what? I would honestly have to agree with you on the match of the night thing. I would. Well, this was easily one of them because I mean, I was always very invested in what Adam Copeland and Malachi Black were doing with this story. I liked the stipulation of Copeland bending the knee if he lost or whatever, but this matchup here was just fantastic. The tease of the turn to allowing, the rest of the House of Black to join Edge and turn on Malachi, that was fantastic. That actually popped me, and I was like, ooh, interesting. And then they turned on Edge, and I was like, that was good. And then Gangrel coming out, that was awesome. The one gripe that I had in this matchup here, and it really wasn't even a gripe, it was just a spot in the match that I just simply really did not agree with, because ultimately I just want to know if the guy's okay. Copeland and his dive off the top of the cage. The guy could have broke both his legs. The guy broke both his legs. And
JD said it earlier, like it almost looked like he gave up mid jump. Like he just like I don't want to do this, and it's too late. Shit.
He landed feet first, and I'm like, Cope, what are you doing? Like, first of all, you're 50 years old. You don't need to take that much risk. We already know how much of a badass you are. You don't need, we don't need that to be a lasting image, especially if you're going to be holding on to the TNT Championship. We don't want you to lose that title due to injury. So,
you know how you get a leg injury?
It's just that point right there.
Do you know how you get a leg injury, Phil?
Dude, I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Well, yes, I've had many.
He didn't jump, he just dropped.
Fair point. But yeah, I thought this barbed wire steel cage match was fantastic. I loved everything about it. It was just that one spot that really happened here. I don't know where Malachi Black and the rest of the House of Black go from here. I really don't.
I can tell you where.
Because
I can definitely tell you where. I definitely tell you where. Well, Phil, let me get your idea on this.
If you're gonna say the unemployment line, then I feel really bad for them because I don't like that.
I actually,
there will be no unemployment line for them.
Now, I actually see a returning Aleister Black really soon. I do see Aleister
in
As far as
WWE.
Buddy, I also see Buddy.
About unemployment
Buddy
line
Murphy
makes you
coming
think he's
back.
going to change lines.
I see that he's gonna. Cause look, we all know that the frustrations that Malachi Black has been dealing with, not just his mental health and everything personal that he's been going through, but we're finally getting a one-on-one, a singles run with Malachi Black. Something just does not sit right with me, and something is telling me that he will be back in WWE a lot sooner than maybe later, possibly. I just feel like, listen, we know what Tommy End can do. We saw what he did in Black and Gold. And because of that old senile fuck is the reason why he left WWE and went to AEW. Under Triple H, and I try to get people to separate the company of WWE from when Vince ran it to what Triple H is doing with it now. Totally two different worlds, but it is the same company. I look at Malachi and AEW. Oh my God, this man should have been world champion in AEW by now. He should have been. And you relegate him to tag team after tag team, to trios after trios after trios after trios, and he disappears. Malachi deserves better
Malachi deserves better, yes.
than a tag
Yes.
team, than a trios. It's fine with what he all for that. I'm all for that with what Malachi is doing at AEW. But the thing is, he's in tag team after tag team, trios after trios. It's frustrating to him. He's a singles competitor guy. And I figured that Tony Khan would learn from what he did in Black and Gold up under Triple H. Use that in AEW. He will be world champion. We probably wouldn't even be sitting here talking about Swerve. We probably wouldn't be sitting here talking about a Samoa Joe before Swerve. We probably wouldn't be sitting here talking about MJF before then. It should have been Malachi Black versus MJF at Revolution 2 years ago for the AEW World Title. Tony Khan fucked that up. And that's why I'm just on the more belief that now Malachi Black is just flowing with emotions until his contract run out. And then he's gonna go right back to Paul Levesque. What do you I Jeremy? What are your I know we talked about it plenty of times, Jeremy.
Ask
And
co-host.
you want Phil to take, all right, Phil, since you the lead man today, you the lead man. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about AEW's booking of Malachi Black? And do you see him leaving AEW and going back to the E up under Triple H?
I think it would be a better fit for him to go back. I would. But the thing is, I don't understand how you can really mess this guy up. I don't. You could have had the House of Black be a thing. You could have had the House of Black be a trio. The fact of the matter is, I don't think House of Black was ever a problem. That was never a problem to begin with. But you could have done the trios. The trio stuff was fine. You could have done the trio stuff for a little while, allow them to really, get composure as a good trio, and allow them to gain, some notoriety within AEW by being that trio, being a dominant trio as they were. But then, as soon as you were done with that trio stuff back in 2022 when they were trios champions, that right there should have been the time and place to let them go on their merry way. And what I mean by that is have Malachi Black do his singles run and have Brody and Buddy be the tag team of the trio and have them wreck house.
That would have been perfect.
If you wanted to, you could have had Malachi Black be a singles champion in AEW. It didn't have to be a world champion at the time, but you could have had him win a singles championship in AEW. You could have had Buddy and Brody win tag team gold. You could have had all of the House of Black hold championship gold at one point. And then even if you had Julia Hart into the mix, TBS champion, women's world champion, whatever, you could have had the House of Black run roughshod over AEW and it could have worked.
Yeah, they
But
could have worked. They could have dominated.
they didn't do
They
that.
could have dominated
And now we see where things
company.
are happening today.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sick to my stomach.
And
Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead, Phil.
and now that it just didn't happen in that way, we're now talking about Malachi Black leaving AEW and going back to being Alistair. It's a shame. It really is. I could see Buddy going back as well. I honestly think Brody would be a freaking monster over there as well, but I don't know if they would really ever go with Brody. It's a shame the way that AEW treated the House of Black.
Like
I
real
mean,
quick,
it really
real quick, Phil. Real quick, Phil, and I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000%. You see, look, see what you did, Phil. Do you see what you did now? See what you did? You don't put that thought of Brody King being in WWE. You put that thought in my head, like, dude, oh my god. I think Triple H will be yeeting all over the place if that happened. I really do. Just absolutely, yeah, chaos. Just absolutely.
It just adds another meaty guy into the division.
Jeez.
It adds another meaty guy to the division of me.
Like, Jeremy, go ahead. Go ahead, Jeremy. I need to get my final thought together on this. Go ahead, Jeremy. Oh.
And you gotta talk this time, bro.
No, go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead, Jeremy. How do you feel about Brody King? If you get Alistair, Buddy Matthews, or Buddy Murphy, and Brody fucking King in WWE, if you bring the House of Black to WWE up under Triple H will do what Tony Khan didn't do.
Okay.
That's very simple.
If all three left, I would be shocked.
Oh my god!
Yes, if all three left, I would be shocked. Brody King seems to be a company man. Buddy Matthews, he's got his heart in another place, literally. Yeah. And so does Malachi.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Based on that, and I can't necessarily say the booking is the problem at this point, and I'll go into that in a minute. But like say they all 2/3 of them have their heart in another company. And so that's going to weigh on them significantly. If like say I know Otis has got a better half. I don't know about you, Phil, but like say you go where your heart is. And whether it is just a issue where you're not they just don't want you right then, or what, or you already showed your direction to them initially, and so they just allowed you to take it. That may be why at least Buddy is there. Malachi may be for a different reason, but all things considered, they both very much have great reasons to return to the Fed. And I'm not going to argue with it if they do. But right now, House of Black.
Real quick, Jeremy, let me throw one more name at you to add into that conversation. I want to say Keith Lee is another one.
Shoot from the hip. Jesus. Keith Lee. Keith Lee is another name. Obviously, he hasn't been used in a while. And when this guy arrived, I've got a replica world title. I wanted to get a nameplate. I wanted to get a nameplate aftermarket from the guy I bought, from the dealer, from the belt maker I bought it from. I wanted to buy another nameplate with Keith Lee, but it just never came down to it. And I was basing that off of his momentum. He had it for a while with Swerve, but then he just dropped off. And so, and health complications, injuries, what have you. Right now, I guess it's an injury rather than it's health. But his heart's in another place too. I don't necessarily see it. It's not beyond me to believe Keith Lee very well could return as well. And
Yeah.
all of these people who return to the E, what they're also thinking is, how readily placeable am I in this whole dynamic that they've got going on? And so that's where I'm really considering the the plausibility, not necessarily the likelihood, but the plausibility of them returning. And so you take that, and then you cross reference it with X, and then you get Y, and blah 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 blah. But no, ultimately, these people have a very good reason to leave. Now, when it comes to the booking, House of Black has been very prevalent these last few months. Malachi, they've been making more emphasis on him having a singles run, and I would not be opposed to him breaking off from the House of Black at this point in AEW,
Right.
or at least having his own singles run aside from a trios or a tag team run from his counterparts.
Right.
But what it comes down to is that Malachi has been injured
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of time. Been dealing with a calf injury
Right.
on and on. And if we know anything about the difference between tag team wrestling, trios wrestling, singles wrestling, we know there's a lot more load to come with tag team and singles wrestling.
Mm.
And so that's why Malachi has been in the trios situation for the length of time that he has. And I'm sorry, like I'm a slow talker. I like to belabor the point, but Malachi has been hurt for a long time. And he's been milking that injury for the sake of being on TV. So let's not bypass his mental health, his physical health, for the sake of him being on TV in the singles run that we all want to see him in. God knows I want to see him in it too, but we all want him to be healthy. So he's dealing with coming, and even then, this calf injury generated from a black mass kick, and so these last few matches, we haven't really had any hint of an injury or anything recurring thereof. So I feel like Malachi is ready for a singles run if he hasn't been already. However, it's just something that we have to fucking take in stride. Like,
Absolutely.
health is the one thing in this business that we don't want to second guess. And whether we
Right.
want to think it's a work or a shoot or whatever they're putting it out on TV as, we just
Right.
need to have consideration for it. Anyway,
Exactly.
I'm going to step off my soapbox.
Exactly, man. Hey, listen, I agree with you on that one. It definitely is the booking. Yes, House of Black has been prominent in the past few months. Maybe now it's the time. I don't want to say it might be a little bit too late as far as it goes for Malachi and him getting a singles run, and or should I say, as versus to how he felt to what he feels now. I don't know if he still feels the same way as he did, 3, 4, 5 months ago, about the middle of last year or anything, because maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he's like, okay, maybe I'll stick around in AEW since they're giving me my singles run. Maybe I'll finally win some singles gold, be on TV a little bit more, get better opportunities. We don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. But I am excited to see where Malachi and the House of Black goes, especially after this wonderful match he had with Adam Copeland at Double or Nothing in that cage match. It was very, very good. What are your thoughts on Gangrel showing up? I know people was clamoring about this was something that was supposed to happen at WrestleMania for Edge last year before he showed up in AEW. They wanted to get Gangrel in there and to kind of be kind of like what he did last night and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm hoping it was just a one-time thing because at this, I don't want to see Gangrel in the ring. I don't. I'm just hoping that was a one-time thing. Phil, what you think about that?
I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna take what they did as like a oh my god, he's back for good
Yeah,
type thing. This has to be a one-time thing. This only should be a one-time thing because it's just. I mean, it was a cool spot for what it was, and that's it. I mean, they brought out the Brood Edge. They gave him
dope ass entrance. Dope ass.
What was the song? They gave him
Was
yeah.
that
Yeah,
Slayer?
they had him come out to Slayer. I mean, it was awesome.
Slayer,
What
yeah.
they did.
Yep.
I think he came out to
Yeah, it was Slayer. So I mean, they had him come out to that. They had
Sorry, he came out to the WrestleMania 39 to the same
I
one.
know the
I'm sorry if
song.
I missed you saying that.
Yeah, that was Slayer. That was Slayer. I just don't
Yeah,
remember the
he came out to
song.
the very same
If you would've
song.
if you would have hit up JD will tell you within a snap of a finger. But
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
it was Slayer.
It was Slayer.
I know it was Slayer. I just don't remember the name of the song. Go ahead, Phil. Continue.
I know I mentioned it. I know I mentioned it somewhere. I just can't find it now. So that's great.
No worries.
But look, they had him come out with that. Gangrel showed up here. It was just a great spot for what it was, and now we'll see where Adam Copeland goes. Look, Gangrel showing up, it was awesome for what it was. But am I gonna take that as all right, Gang's back for good and he's gonna be like a manager for Copeland of sorts? No, this was a one-time deal, and I'm glad it was.
It was.
He kicked his modem again.
It was good showing. It was good to see Gangrel, the former the Luna Vachon. It was one thing that's all it needs to be is just a win.
South of Heaven.
But not that's all it needs to be was just a one thing. South of Heaven. Thank you. Thank you. South of Heaven. Like the choke slam Damian Priest uses.
Yep.
Like the choke slam Damian Priest uses. All right. And we're here.
I should have known that.
Finally made it to the main event. Made it to the main event of Double or Nothing. It is the Anarchy in Arena match. Team AEW versus the Elite. Team AEW consisted of FTR, Bryan Danielson, and Darby Knievel Allen, that crazy son of a bitch, versus the Elite, the Young Bucks, Okada, and Mr. Jungle Boy, aka Jack Perry, the scapegoat. My thoughts on this match. I loved it. It was a fun match. But I did hate something about this goddamn match. I don't want to see this shit no more. I don't want no more music in the Anarchy in Arena match. That shit has got to go.
Oh.
That took for me, that took away from the match. I was more focused on singing and what song they're playing versus the match that was actually going on. As soon as this guy came up on the screen, they said, "Hey, it's costing us $200,000 to play that. Cut it off. We're on a budget here. You kidding me? We're on a budget."
As soon as that guy showed up,
as soon as that guy,
that's not a real number.
Well, but I know it was costing them money.
But it cost them a lot. It cost them a lot.
It was a pretty
a lot. Don't get me wrong.
After time they play,
it cost them a lot. Don't get me wrong. But I thought 200,000 was generous. I thought 200,000 was generous.
I mean, that's
it's got to be more.
That far. That's putting that song way over.
But man, when they actually cut the music off, I was happy. Listen, hold on, Mr. Dark Ace. I will take Final Countdown if they had to play a song, I would take Final Countdown over the Young Bucks new music. That shit was god awful. Oh my god.
Shit, bro. Let me just tell you, like, I'm about to talk to some people about some music rights myself.
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, like, I'm just like prepared for an astronomical number. For I'm not gonna say what. I mean, we've got Mister. I'm
Keep
gonna
it
cop shit right up here.
Don't say shit then. Keep your mouth shut then. Keep your fucking mouth shut then. Don't say nothing if you're afraid
I
of
know.
taking it.
But, I'm just gonna say I got something in the works.
But it was good. I loved it, especially once the music stopped. That way I can hear every shot and stuff like that. Darby Allin tried to kill the scapegoat Jack Perry, not once but twice at least. He tried to drown him in ice water, and then he set the dude on fire. Meanwhile, Jack Perry tried to hit Darby Allin with a bus. Kind of little thing right there that's been going on. You know?
Okay, so there wasn't much trying with a flamethrower. There's not much trying in setting somebody on fire. Just saying, Otis. Just saying.
Yeah.
And I've got something to say about this match as well.
Okay. All right. I find it very funny. I do find it very funny that as soon as Jack Perry got set on fire, within half of a blink of an eye, the Young Bucks had fire extinguishers. I thought that was just absolutely amazing. I thought that was absolutely incredible.
If anybody saw the report, they were all taking training in fire safety.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I watched the video. I saw the video.
So we all knew it was
I saw the video. Yeah, I saw the video. One of the most funniest and probably the coolest spot. I got to give Tony Khan a little bit of credit. When Jack Perry was coming from the back, he saw Tony Khan and Gorilla, grabbed him by his collar, and as soon as Jack Perry and Tony Khan got out to the actual stage, for some reason, Jack Perry did not throw. He didn't really throw TK. TK jumped. He leapt, fell on the ramp, and started rolling down the ramp.
Talking about selling like a motherfucker. Like, as much like, oh, what's happening to me? Oh, no. I can get up. I can lightly get up and then walk around this fucking this ramp here. Good God.
And the way that, because somebody had.
I don't give a shit if you don't like this man.
Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead, Phil.
I don't give a shit if you don't like this man for his booking. I don't give a shit if you don't like this man for his booking. I don't give a shit if you don't like this man because he does cocaine. I don't care if you like. I don't care if you don't like this man because he just doesn't. You know,
he's the most protected man in AEW. You can't argue it.
Man, look, it was a great spot. Somebody actually video recorded the bottom part. Somebody actually filmed Tony Khan rolling down the ramp.
Yeah,
and then and at the end of the ramp, he got up like a 3-point football stand, and just zoomed right back up to Gorilla. Man, it was great. Good job, Tony.
What I was about to say. What?
Yes.
What? No, so
like I said, I don't care if you like this man. Oh,
go ahead.
This is so good.
Go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry. If you don't, here's the thing.
No, this is so good. I saw the video.
Go ahead, Phil.
Okay, go ahead, Jeremy. Jesus, go ahead.
I'm really sorry. No, just that the lag and whatnot. It just is. So, what I'm getting to is, we saw Jack Perry after he just allegedly destroyed Darby with a bus. Then Darby emerges, and then Jack Perry, for whatever reason, like, he knocked himself out from getting in that vehicle accident trying to kill Darby. He comes back through Gorilla and then sees Tony Khan just sitting there watching the monitor. What does he do? What does he do? Did he just assault his boss? What? Can anybody tell me in the chat in the stream? Who has a founder's clause in their contract?
The Bucks.
Founder's clause in their contract
Bucks.
that
Bucks.
dictates them being allowed to touch their boss in such a violent manner and not get fired.
No Diddy. But it's the Bucks.
I mean,
It's
let's leave Diddy out of it. Let's just say pause. Fuck Diddy. Anyway, so and yeah, just me saying to the world. Anyway, so we have somebody who assaulted their boss on TV, on actual televised, on an actual televised program, not just CCTV, not just a security camera, but actual pay-per-view television. So Jack Perry grabs his boss and grabs him violently by the shirt collar, stretching that shit all to nothing. And so, and then it cuts away. Obviously, they're trying to they're like recorrect themselves or prepare themselves for what else is about to happen. So what I'm leading to is, based on what we saw last night, and then we reflect to the security footage, what we saw from All In last year. Why didn't the one person who didn't have that founder's clause in the contract not get reprimanded at the very least for touching their boss in a violent manner?
Right.
And I understand it's kayfabe, but you just fired CM Punk, the biggest draw for your company, for the same thing. For the very same thing. And it wasn't even on, but it was threatening his livelihood at the very least. So that's where I'm just like, like, why aren't you addressing this? Like, you got assaulted tonight by somebody who doesn't have these stipulations in their clause or in their contract. Why haven't you taken legal action against them? Oh, well, just the Bucks are so over and blah 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 blah. It's just a great angle and blah blah blah. Even if he said that or not, like I know he was roundabout asked this question last night, and they danced around that shit. Like you saw, they had Renee Paquette just standing by the table, ready to like give the initial questions, and then whatever few like media questions they were going to take, they were going to ask. But Renee was doing the bulk of the work in that show.
Okay.
So yeah.
Renee
Anyway.
Paquette is great. Renee is great. She is so great. She is so good. So good. But man, the Elite win. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
One thing.
Okay.
I just want to touch on this one thing. What?
Say it.
What the fuck kind of matchup was this? Bro, we saw so much shit. It's not even funny. We saw
nonsense.
We saw vehicular manslaughter attempts. We saw we saw a
no,
man getting
never mind vehicular manslaughter. There was murder attempts. That there was malice to that shit.
Yeah. Yes.
Saw that.
Yes. We saw a man getting caught on fire. We saw a man getting hung by his broken foot. And yes, I still have to preface this man still has a broken foot. So he is hanging by his feet by a microphone cord upside down. Dude, what kind of shit is this? And then all of a sudden, when I did see the footage of Tony rolling down, he was literally rolling down that rampway. I tweeted too. Are we gonna? Well, yeah, there's that. Yep. There's that. But Yeah, I tweeted two of my good friends who I was watching during the time because they do watch alongs, and I was watching it along with them. And one of them called Tony Khan a king because of that role, and I was like, "Yep, that's just our fucking guy right there." And then secondly, my guy was like, "Bro, really did hit the stop, drop, and roll," and I was like, "Well, you have to do that in case of a fire." So so I mean, I guess he really did learn that in school. But look,
Isn't
the
that second
Sanarchy in the arena
nature?
match was just absolutely insane. Yeah, I mean, the Sanarchy in the arena match is absolutely fucking insane. This was
You
easily the best Anarchy in the arena match I've seen
it was. It was.
throughout the
Phil,
times in
You left
this
out
company's
one spot. Actually, you left out
history.
two spots, Phil.
And regardless, okay.
You left out two spots.
Well, the exploding
The
chair.
super kick, the exploding chair, and the super kick with
The
the
exploding
tax.
chair.
Oh,
There's that.
and Okada's move. What's Okada's
And the tax.
Rainmaker.
And
the Rainmaker. The Rainmaker with
and,
the
and the Rainmaker thing with the text. Look, I and the thing that ended this match overall was the Busai knee.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
It was a knee. It was a knee that ended this match. Out of everything that this out of everything that this match could have ended on, it was a knee. And some say Legend still has it to this very day. Darby is still hanging from the rafters. They lifted him up. They never put him down. It's just like that. It's just like that episode of Drake and Josh where the substitute teacher was still hanging upside down, saying, "Is somebody going to cut me down?" Yeah, no. Because
Oh my
he's
God,
just
I
there.
remember that.
But
I
the
definitely
match is
remember that.
just
I can't say I ever remembered that, but
That-
no, like all things considered,
the
I
match
know
is
they did. After the match, there's actual footage of them taking Darby down and unstringing Darby from the
From the cord, the rope.
let me
Yeah.
live. Let me
But
live my let me live my weird dream, okay? Of him just still being there. Because that would be hilarious.
I'm just still living in fantasy. Don't destroy it. Don't destroy it.
Man, that Anarchy in the arena match was definitely something. It was the better of all the Anarchy in the arena matches.
It was good.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
much. That's gonna bring up to the main. That's gonna bring as I am able to return back to the screen. Damn this shit! Because every time I get ready to say something, go on a little rant, then all of a sudden I start glitching out and shit. That ain't cool, StreamYard or internet or whatever in the universe that's causing this shit to happen. Chill out. But now, let's go ahead and jump into the AEW World Title, and then after that, we're going to rapid fire the King and Queen of the Ring, since that was only 5 matches. Oh man, how do I feel about this match? Swerve versus Christian. Phil, I'm gonna let you take the reins on this one. Swerve versus Christian, AEW World Title. Go for it.
Match is good. It was predictable knowing that Swerve was gonna retain here. But the one thing that they did really well on was they made Christian look like a real viable threat to Swerve in his ring.
That's fair. I like that.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing that I will give AEW in terms of this rivalry here. The whole point to me with this Swerve Strickland World Championship run is him paying for his sins after everything that he was when he was a full-fledged heel in the company. And the first hurdle that he had to get through was Christian Cage and the patriarchy for what he did to Nick Wayne. They did everything right here. When he was named the number 1 contender by the Elite, I was perfectly fine with it because I knew where they could possibly go with it. And then they actually did call back to attention with the Nick Wayne stuff, and I was like, there you go. You're actually cooking with this stuff here, so you're actually making a lot of sense here. I don't know where Swerve goes next. I want, AEW to know where they go next with Swerve, but they made him look like a viable threat. Things worked out in everybody's favor. Swerve retained. Christian looked good. It was a
Jeremy,
great way to have Swerve get his real first championship defense pay-per-view happen.
yeah, it was.
Right.
I enjoyed the match. Jeremy, you go ahead before I give my thoughts.
Ultimately, yeah, good match. They made it believable that Christian was a viable contender. Um, where it comes down to it, we all knew who was going to win because ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, anybody who really knows this business is going to know that Swerve is going to retain and probably hold the title for at least uh, 1 to 2 more pay-per-views. I really wanna give him more credit than that, but it's hard at this point because so many people have come back. MJF is now back in the fold, and he's gonna come back with a vengeance.
Right.
Um, and that's another thing, like, MJF is the one of the few talents on that roster that can make you feel, and he said it in that moment that he in that same promo that he uh, basically called TK a mark. You're a fucking mark, and no, he just said that he's the one of the one people, one of the one people in this world that in this industry that can make you feel. And bro, like I had salty, watery substances leaking from my eyes last night. I know Otis was happy about it, but bro, I was so happy to see MJF back.
I
And
was.
he is the one person that I want that I could see legitimately taking that title from Swerve. Uh, uh
Yeah.
Touching back on our match, on our show in Oklahoma when I was with you, Otis, like say we were there for that backstage back and forth with
Yeah.
Swerve.
Yep.
So, like, you and I both know that and see it, and so we know what's coming eventually, and so that's just really who I'm picking to. No Diddy, no pause, whatever you want to say. That's whoever I'm taking. I'm picking to uh, take the title off of Swerve is MJF at this point. Whether Osprey is in a good position, but no, that like I segued a little bit based on this match. Christian was a great contender for it, but albeit everybody knows that it was just filler. It was just another padded match that we're all gonna get leading to bigger things. And I'm not gonna fault it. It did what it needed to. So
Right.
yeah.
I a couple of things I want to take away from this match. First of all, it was an excellent match. Everybody knows how I feel about the Father of the Year. Christian is doing some of the best work he has done in his career. Everybody knows that I love Swerve. Swerve is my boy. I'm happy that he's AEW World Champion. I see big things for him. You know, and it was a fantastic match. A couple of the key, actually, the only key point that I wrote into the about this match is that not only did Prince Nana get ejected, the rest of the Patriarch also got ejected as well, which made it a pretty even match. Swerve wins with the Swerve Stomp, followed by the House Call 1, 2, 3. Swerve retains the AEW World Title. We was talking about MJF, and we was also talking about Will Ospreay as far as being potential challengers for that AEW World Championship.
I was personally hoping
So
this that MJF would have come out at the end of this match, like
well
as just
now
icing on the cake.
at some point, and I really want to know what you guys think about this. I think at some point, even before All In, we need to have MJF versus Osprey. Winner gets a shot. Now, if that happens in the tournament in the Owen Cup, I'm cool with that. but it's got to be a final. It's got to be the finals. I would rather for it to be the finals. MJF versus Ospreay. Winner goes to All In to face Swerve for the AEW World Title. So as far as those two guys being, I know you said we got to protect MJF, but I wouldn't mind MJF being in the Owen Cup. I wouldn't mind that. Ospreay is a different story. He's a champion. I'm pretty sure he's going to be defending that title on whatever show that they may do it, unless they just make the Owen Cup a whole actual, like the King and Queen of the Ring, make it its own entity. But I think that'll be I think that's a good little match you can have in the tournament with maybe MJF going over. Like, what are you guys thinking about that? MJF, Ospreay, Owen Cup. Like, what you think about that, Phil?
Well, you already know that I want to see this match. I talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see MJF versus Will Ospreay. I think it being the finals of the Owen could work. But I kind of actually want to see more of a story between the two. I do. I think them being in the tournament works. I just want to see more than just that one match. I want to see what they do in terms of an actual story. So I would rather actually kind of like to see them actually have a match at All In. Maybe it's for the International Championship, maybe it's not. Who knows? But if we actually had that match happen at All In and actually get like a built-in story behind it, because nobody's on the level of the Devil and Ospreay's on a whole other level, like MJF getting jealous because of the whole because the fans gravitating towards Will as quickly as they did. I think that makes a lot more sense than to just have that one-off match just to get an AEW World Title opportunity, if that makes any sense.
I agree. My bro from the Mo, what are your thoughts of possibly MJF versus Ospreay, maybe in the Owen Cup? Hey, maybe even at All In. What do you think about that? As he sip from his beverage.
Right. So MJF versus Ospreay. Where Swerve is at right now, based on him, that's how I'm ruling this whole world title picture. I want to factor in other people, but I can't leave out Swerve here, obviously.
Right.
So
Right.
if you consider where MJF is right now, just returning, he is very much on a Triple H return from a quad tear kind of return.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to take no prisoners. And he's going to address every single elephant in the room. And so I feel like he's very much and very quickly going to have contentious words with Swerve.
Right.
Whether that is his first program back or not, I'm not going to say because I don't know. However,
Right.
I will say that based on where Will Ospreay is at,
Mm-hmm.
and where Will Ospreay is at right now, he is on a level that is destined to be with Swerve at this point, because they have injuries in this company and then have contingencies for those situations, and I feel like Ospreay is that contingency. So
I do. I really do too.
And that's why you heard me earlier saying that I kind of am predicting Ospreay and Swerve. However, with this reintroduction rather, of MJF to the fold, that very much could throw a wrench in the plans.
Big. Yeah.
It's hard to say at this point. And I say this with WWE with how they've been lately. Like the more they throw in these other wild cards or just change plans, it really and add Tama Tonga Loa, other people to the bloodline feud. It just adds layers to the unpredictability.
Yes.
And so with all of these people that have been added to the fold in AEW, it just again adds those layers. And so I'm just kind of waiting to see. But ultimately, when it comes to Swerve and or excuse me, MJF and Osprey, I'm reserving my predictions for after some more uh realistic kind of booking with Swerve towards that
Right
deal.
now, right now, I'm asking both of you guys right now, with a gun to the back of your head, who are you choosing to face Swerve? Who are you choosing to
Where?
face Swerve? With a gun in the back of your head, who
Where?
are you choosing to
When?
face Swerve?
Where and when?
At All
And
In?
all in. Yeah, all in.
At
With a
All
gun
In?
in the back of your head. Who are you choosing?
Hmm.
That's tough.
Shit.
That is
That's a good
tough.
question.
With
Between
a
those
gun to
two,
the
or just anybody?
Oh no, with those two, Osprey or MJF, with a gun to the back of your head, cocked and
Ooh,
ready for the
between
trigger
those
to
two.
be pulled. Who are you choosing? I can't say. I plead the fifth, pull the trigger. I plead the fifth, pull the trigger.
Yeah, no, yeah,
I
yeah,
can't say.
no. I don't want to die.
Hey, do I have to make a
Hmm.
logical decision here for all three of us? The
Feel free.
logical decision
Feel
here
free.
is Osprey. You want to know why? At this
Yeah, no,
point,
yeah.
at this
I
point
Yes.
only, because MJF has literally just returned. We haven't seen anything else from him. We
But
can
there's
reserve
interaction.
this judgment.
There's already interaction between MJF and Swerve. It's a story that's
There's
already
already history. There's already that elephant in the room. However, we cannot discount what momentum Osprey has already had.
that's fair.
And based on that current momentum versus MJF's just returned last night, that it's
That's fair.
kind of
Okay.
obvious. However much we all like, if you want to go this level, like the two pops on par with each other last night, the two biggest pops on par with each other were MJF's return, and Osprey's entrance.
Yeah.
That's it. So you can't
Yeah.
necessarily like man, it's just it's one of those things, man.
Oh,
You
yeah, it
you
is. It is,
you
bro.
uh MJF is already so over and he's homegrown versus Osprey is just so beloved based on who he is, uh his legitimacy, his um authenticity. So like and you can get into comparing the two, but again, it's like almost comparing like AEW to WWE, but just talent wise, they're apples to oranges. Like you can't compare the top
Mhm.
priced apple versus the top priced orange. So, and no pun intended,
Yeah.
but all things considered. Anyway, Phil, you got any comments on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, actually, yes, I do. But look, look, it's just a matter of look. Are both of these guys going to be in world championship title contention again? Yes, of course they are. It's going to be Will Ospreay
Absolutely.
and MJF. Of course they are. But it's just a matter of what'll make sense. What'll make the most sense at that right time in terms of All In. Um,
Yeah.
Osprey definitely does make a lot more sense as of right now, considering what they have, built within him. Um, but if they were to actually give it to MJF, I'm not going to be upset about it, because
Yeah.
of the history between Swerve and MJF and all that. So it's just it's gonna happen. Both matches are gonna happen. It's just you gotta make it work
Yes.
in the way that it's got to. But guys, I actually have work in about 4 hours, so
Oh
I'm gonna
shit,
bounce
bro.
if you don't mind.
No.
Hey,
It's
I got
good.
work
Phil,
in
hey,
4 hours,
go,
so
go ahead. Hey, if you got to bounce, go ahead. I was going to do a rapid fire of the king and queen of the ring. If you just got about 5 more minutes, we'll get through with this in 5 more minutes, and then we'll end the show.
okay.
I don't know that we
Um,
can do that.
oh,
I'll do the 5 more
oh,
minutes. Yes.
we can. I'm gonna shoot through. I'm gonna shoot through all the matches, and then we're just gonna give maybe a 30-second opinion about each one. So I'm gonna start from the top. Liv Morgan defeated. Of course, we saw. Of course, if you watch Raw, you know that Mid Morgan is the new Raw World's Women's Champion. She defeated Becky. Um, my little quick. I'm not even gonna spend 30 seconds on this. I didn't care too much about it. I don't care about Liv Morgan. She's a pretty face, but she sucks at wrestling. Becky Lynch, her contract. She didn't sign her contract. It was only reasonable to give Liv Morgan the title. How do you guys feel about that? Phil, go ahead. Go first, Phil.
Okay. Look, the only reason why I can see Liv Morgan being the women's champion right now is because of the story with Rhea. That's it. Rhea's gonna get the title back as soon as she gets back here. Liv's gonna lose it, and that's just it. Um, that's the only reason why I see Liv Morgan having this championship, and ultimately, I don't see anybody else really being a women's world champion besides Rhea Ripley at this time. That's the
That's
only time. That's the only person I actually see being associated with this championship.
perfectly said. Perfectly said. Mid most smart. Your thoughts.
Agreed with Phil. She was literally one of the only people at this point who could actually contend with Becky, and given the direction, it just made sense. Based on her uh, walloping Rhea, I mean, it was just an angle to put her in place as a transitional champion until whatever issue that Rhea deals with is finished and she returns. I mean, and I will say, quite the peach Buddy Matthews' face was laying on. So, all things considered, no, live purely transitional.
All right, all right, all right. Next match, the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Did your predictions turn out the way that you wanted to, Phil? I know I picked Bronson Reed, just based on how he's been built over the past couple of months, but wasn't thinking about the hometown love that Sami Zayn was going to get. But I'm glad Sami won. I wish Bronson Reed would have won that. To see him as the champion would have been something. Phil, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I had Sammy winning. Um, the only way Jack Gable should be winning the Intercontinental Championship is in a singles capacity. That's it. You should not have him win it in this triple threat. Even if it was due to Otis helping him or hurting him in the end. Jack Gable will be Intercontinental Champion, but it's going to be when that the Alpha Academy that we see today is no longer a thing, and we'll see new people come into the fold and really help him win that title. So, Sammy winning, the ultimate right decision.
Absolutely. Creed Brothers could be joining Chad Gable soon, per rumors and reports. We'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. Mid most smart, go ahead.
This was actually my match of the night versus up against Cody and Cody
Okay.
and Cody's match. But no, I had Sami Zayn to retain just because he had so quickly he had just recently won it. But what it comes down to is Bronson Reed and his performance. Uh he was the powerhouse of all of it. He was responsible. Like we saw a shooting star. Was it a shooting star or a moonsault? from him?
Moonsault,
Moonsault.
Moonsault,
Okay.
Moonsault.
And
And a Tope Suicida.
and so like I felt this was his standalone performance uh, for at least the next 4 months until they maybe start building him more. But at this point, he's more of a enhancement talent. But all things considered, great match. Sammy deserved the win, and it was kind of obvious that he should, if not would, retain.
All right, all right, all right. Queen of the Ring finals with the most exciting ending that I've seen in a long time. Lyra Valkyria versus Nia Jax. I'm shooting through it. Nia Jax had one of the best performances I've ever seen her have. That ending was something special. Phil, how do you feel about that?
Nia winning was 100% the right decision here. First of
Yes.
all, I want to say, I am not going to say Lyra who. I am not going to say that because I love Lyra. I
She's good.
love
She's so good. I try to
Lyra.
tell
I
you
don't
how
know
good she
what the whole Lyra Valkyria hate is about.
It was
I'm
my
with
first
you.
real match watching it from
I don't
beginning
understand the
to
hate
end.
is about with Lyra.
I feel you, Phil. Like she's good, Phil.
But
Like tell people how good Lyra Valkyria is, Phil. She's good.
she shows you she's
Look,
got that
look,
straight fire like Becky Lynch did when she first showed
I'll
up.
I'll give JD this. It is going to take more than a 4-week tournament to get her over with the crowd. I get that. I understand that. But the only thing where I, just disagree with JD on the point of it is that she's very good at what she does. They are obviously putting her in a spot. They wouldn't be putting her in the spot in the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament if they didn't see anything in her.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
They see
Absolutely.
something huge in her. And she
Yes.
beat and she beat um and she beat Kyrie Sane tonight on Raw. And that's huge for somebody like Lyra. And the fact that is like I I'm gonna say this is my final point, but um we all used to be terrified for when NXT call ups happened. But now with this Triple H era, they're proving that at least within the women's division, somebody like Lyra Valkyria is going to be a big star, and they really see something within her. So I'm happy with where she is right now. I am. But Nia winning was right.
Yes, absolutely. My bro from the Mo, what you think?
Yes. Nia winning was completely the correct decision. Um, Piggybacking off of what Phil was saying, um, under the Triple H era, under the Triple H regime, things are only going to get better, and that's what we're seeing as of right now. And Triple H isn't going to establish leadership in another point of creative, and the point of another creative aspect,
Okay.
in another realm of WWE that is NXT. That's why he appointed Shawn Michaels, and that's why Lyra Valkyria has achieved such precedent in what she's done and how she's gone about her way of her career at this point. So, no, I cannot say anything bad about Lyra Valkyria at this point. She reminds me of Becky Lynch in her original days in NXT, and I feel like that's kind of what they were going for in her own way. But again, Nia winning against her was kind of obvious when it comes to squash matches, and just ultimately, like Lyra beat Io Sky
Mhm.
in the King and the Queen of the Ring finals, or the Raw semifinals, or the Raw finals, I would say.
The Queen finals, yeah.
Yes. And so her beating her again tonight on Raw, like I'm not gonna bat an eyelash at that, only because she already earned it anyway. And regardless of whatever EO's situation, her contract status, whatever, I'm not going to bat an eyelash at that. Only because that's who they're trying to push at this point. They're trying to put over new talent, and
And
whether EO gets that win back or not later on, who knows? But at this point, like I can appreciate what they're doing with Lyra, but it was completely the right decision to put it on Naya for Queen of the Ring. Anyway,
what a way to carry the 30 seconds, Jeremy. Good job. Two more. Two more matches. Two more matches. The men's King of the Ring
I went over two.
with the elephant in the room. Gunther defeats Randy Orton with an asterisk and becomes the King of the Ring. Oh, by the way, Adams, that finish for that Nia and Valkyrie. Oh my God, that Annihilator was something of beauty.
Yeah.
My God, if nothing else flowed perfectly, I am so happy that spot flowed perfect for that 1, 2, 3 finale.
I'm gonna go first. So yeah, Randy's shoulders were up. Good match. Next.
Yeah.
Randy's shoulders were up. However, Triple H did say that there will be a rematch. So keep your eyes and ears about that. Go ahead.
The fact that the fact that they're calling attention to it makes me believe that this is going to be okay in the end. Okay, they called to it when Triple H said it in the back. They called to it tonight on Monday Night Raw when Gunther showed up as the first thing tonight. So they're calling attention to it. This matchup is going to happen again.
It is.
And when this matchup happens again, it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely, Phil. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yes, because before in the other regime, they wouldn't give a single shit about it. They would have never called attention to it. It's just a thing that they would never do. But now that they are, it's just going to be better off for it. Now, is this going to be for the crown? I don't think it will be. I don't. The rematch is not going to be for the crown. I don't think it will be. But it's going to be great when this matchup actually does happen. Somebody brought I was live tweeting as I do, and then somebody said I actually like that, they might actually do this, but how about if Randy beats Gunther? Why can't Randy get a WWE Championship opportunity at SummerSlam? But I'm like, why would he get Cody if he beat Gunther? That just didn't make sense to me, and we were just trying to talk, and then he didn't answer me after that. So it's just,
right.
I don't know what's going to be happening here. Gunther winning was obviously the right decision, and I'm going to end it with this. It was obviously the right decision. It's just the asterisk of the shoulder being up. That just is going to be the thing. It's going to be people talking about. That's all.
I believe with Gunther winning, if they're going to do a rematch, if you let Orton win the rematch, give him a title shot at Money in the Bank. Because I think what they're going to do as far as the rematch, it's going to happen probably at Bash at Berlin, I want to say. Maybe. But if Randy...
Bash at Berlin is at the end of August.
Is that okay? So that's the end of August. Okay.
I still question the logic of that booking. Like, if they're gonna do it at Bash at Berlin and not consider the direction that they had initially before all this bullshit happened. I don't know.
Because here's the thing: Gunther gets a shot at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight title. To me, Gunther's winning that World Heavyweight Championship. He's winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
I feel the same way. Bill.
But what does it do for the?
Oh my God! I feel the same way.
But what does it do for the plans that they already had before Randy had his shoulder up? Is what I'm asking. So
what the thing that I look at it is, because you still got to look at Drew and Damian Priest, because we still got to, and then you still got to factor CM Punk at the end of this, you still got to factor CM Punk in all of this,
dude.
So
I
Don't
I
get
I
too
said I
there.
said this right from the word go. I've said this right from the word go. You're doing Damian versus Gunther at SummerSlam. You are.
okay,
That's the match. Because I don't want Punk and Drew to be for the world title. Because it doesn't need to be for the
that's
world
fair.
title.
That is
Because the
fair. That is
matchup
so
is
fair.
already personal enough as it is.
Yes.
You had AJ Styles fly all the way to wherever they did to have him cost LA Knight the WWE
Oh,
Championship in the
that's fair.
Elimination Chamber. Why
That is
can't Punk fly to Glasgow, cost Drew McIntyre the World Heavyweight Championship, and there you go. You have your fucking personal beef right there for SummerSlam, Punk and Drew. Then you have
sure do.
Gunther and Damian. You have Damian hold on to that championship for 120 days. That's a good enough reign for him from WrestleMania to SummerSlam. And Gunther wins the championship. And you're fine. Like,
That's
that
so
title
fair.
does not need to be in Punk and Drew.
Yeah, they
That-
just need to be fighting about it. That's
True that.
purely all they needed to do for the next year and a half.
True. Very, very true. Phil, man. See, Phil, this is why you're on the show, man. You have opened my mind up to other possibilities going on, especially when it comes to this business we love called wrestling. All right. In our last match, the WWE Championship, very, very good match. It's a match that I will sit here and say that I will never call Logan Paul a celebrity wrestler again. This man is a full-on wrestler now. He has earned my respect as a wrestler. Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes. Cody retains after Logan Paul basically did the coolest spot with the drone camera and jumped on Cody. I thought that was cool. That was the table spot was probably the biggest spot of that match right there. You also had a ref bump, yada yada yada, typical WWE stuff. But very good match between Logan and Cody. Real quick before we get up out of here, Jeremy, what are your thoughts? And then we'll shoot.
It was obvious Cody was going to win. Logan's a tool, but I mean, he proved himself to the business. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, without going into full, like, rigorous detail, what I normally do, and knowing people have time, and I appreciate that time. No, I'm going to pass it up.
Phil, go ahead. Your thoughts.
Match is fine. Match is really good. Logan Paul, I don't like him as a person, but as a pro wrestler, the fact of the matter is he's just incredible at what he is doing in this ring. He really only got this championship opportunity because the Prince loves him, and that's really it. But I think when it's all really said and done, this is a perfectly fine defense for Cody. But now I want to know what WWE has in store for after this, because let's face it, you can count on one hand how many world championship caliber superstars are on SmackDown right now. And I don't like that.
Sir.
I don't like that at all. They overstat Monday Night Raw, and that is not good. You have all this time to figure out what you got to do with Cody. He should be your number one priority, like JD is saying, and it's just not working out right now. So hopefully they have a plan.
I think real quick before we get up, I think the plan is they're gonna try to linger this out to Money in the Bank when The Rock actually does come back. I think he will show back up at Money in the Bank to start that feud going into SummerSlam. Rock versus Cody at the end of SummerSlam. You're gonna get Roman back. Then you're gonna have this bloodline story you got to feed into. I think Randy Orton's about to get interjected into this. Excuse me, into this world title match and into this WWE Championship match too in the summer of this year. Basically lead us into the Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble. So those are my thoughts about that. Guys, that will do it for the BiggOh wrap up. We went over Double or Nothing, and we fire shot it. Little small review of King and Queen of the Ring. We're about to get out of here. My boy Phil, he has to go to work in a few hours, man, and we need him to be as fresh as possible. What I like to do here, Phil, I like to kind of spread a little bit of positivity. If you could just give a little bit of positivity words out there to the people out there, and tell people where they can find you.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be on here. This was absolutely a blast. I love both of you guys and what you guys really do for the community. You guys are really some good people out here, and honestly, the chat was just tremendous. You guys can follow me on all social media platforms: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, at @feelingthat_. Right there for you guys. Follow the podcast for my sake, if you don't mind my shameless plug outside the brand. On YouTube, we are on that road to 1,000 subscribers, and we've been doing this thing for over the course of the last maybe like 3 years at this point. The first SmackDown with fans back, that's when we first started, and we have not stopped since. The real big thing that I want to just allow everybody to know is just enjoy the time that we're in right now, man. I mean, enjoy the time that we're in right now, not only just in pro wrestling, but just the time that you have with your friends, your family. Hold them close, because you never know when the last time you'll be able to see them is, and just allow yourself to just really be that person that we all know that everybody is, and they are good in everybody's hearts. So just allow yourself to just really take everything in and enjoy pro wrestling.
My bro from the Mo,
Word.
any beautiful words you want to say to the people out there?
Everybody, you know where you can find me if you're already on this channel, at MidmostMark on X and YouTube. As far as any words of positivity, bro, there's a lot of negativity in this world. Every single one of us can agree with that. And what Bill was saying, love your neighbor, love your family, love one another. We don't this is not a competition in life. We're all just doing what we can. And
Absolutely.
we all just need to take it in stride and protect our loved ones and ourselves.
Exactly. Okay. Awesome, man. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the BiggOh Decoding Kayfabe Thursdays. Check it out. I'll be over there, and I'll also be on the OTB brand as well, supporting my boy Phil over there, man. Listen, family is everything. I've always said that. You know what I'm saying? Future said it best. You have many various different types of juices and sodas and potato chips, you know. We still enjoy it, right? Why can't we do that with wrestling? Just because one company is doing better than the other, or vice versa, doesn't mean we have to stop watching it. If you love professional wrestling, keep watching it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it with the people that you love. You know what I'm saying? This is a passion, and we strive for this passion. Us three right here that you see right here on this panel, it is nothing but passion. It's nothing but what comes from right here in the heart, bro. So we got to keep up the love. Make sure you tell somebody you love them every single day. I love these guys right here. These are my bros. This is family right here. Just like Future and JP and Mr. Dark Ace and Rob and Scripps and Hula Grim. All you guys are family to me, and I love you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. So those are my little positive words. Shout out to JD, Jesse, Guardian of Chaos, the GOC of the IWC, Jen. Love you guys always, man. And that's going to do it for the show here at the BiggOh Wrap Up, episode 31. On behalf of my boy Phil and on behalf of the bro from the Mo, Jeremy, the MidmostSmark, we are up out of here, man. Deuces. Ooses. We're gone. Appreciate you, Phil, for being on the show. Take care, bro.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Get inside. It goes